Crazy hairline. What's going on, everybody? This is welcome to Cash Sports. Glad to be back here with you guys today. We got some breaking news. We got some basketball that we need to discuss, right? So before we get into that, please like and subscribe to Cash Sports. I would graciously appreciate it. Any support from towards the podcast would definitely help. And also, I know you guys see the cash app at the bottom of the screen with the dollar sign. Cash Sports One. Any donates, I would graciously appreciate it because, of course, any proceeds that I receive would definitely go towards the podcast. All right. Let me get a hat here because my joint looking crazy. I just had to put that little cap on, I'm not feeling fresh today. I was supposed to get a haircut, and then my barber canceled on me. I was all prepared. I was ready to stream, and then emergency popped up. So hey, it is what it is. You can't, everything can't fall right, every single moment. All right. So I know y'all seen that title. Steve Nash got fired as the Brooklyn Nets head coach. Right, we here to talk some ball. Hear me? So it was a long time coming. I stated it in the past. It was long overdue. I always felt and thought that Steve Nash just wasn't the head coach for the job. I mean, it was stated in the past, by numerous NBA analysis. I mean, just by looking at the direction of this team and their leadership. No disrespect to Steve Nash. I think he still has the opportunity to be a head coach. But the issue is, you have to factor in the personalities in order. You're dealing with Kevin Durant, you're dealing with Kyrie Irving. Those are huge personalities in the game, and sometimes you need somebody who's a little bit more stern, somebody who's going to hold them a little bit more accountable. The vibe that I get from Steve Nash is, he's very chilled, laid back, X's and O's kind of guy. There's no doubt about it. Steve Nash is a top 5 point guard in the league or ever, because Steve Nash is definitely up there. He's a 2-time league MVP. And so he definitely deserves that opportunity. But like I stated, you got to factor in his character and how he's going to lead this team and how he's going to approach this team. There has to be some sort of authoritarian figure for that head coaching position for it to even work out. Somebody who they're going to respect. And just based off the past, they had no respect for Steve Nash. I mean, what more could I say? They didn't. I mean, you have Kevin Durant come out and basically ask for the guy to get fired publicly. Him and Sean Marks. I disagree with the fact that Kevin Durant wanted to get Sean Marks fired. I thought that was kind of ludicrous because Sean Marks is the GM. He's did everything to accommodate Kevin Durant. He got him the players that he wanted. He paid him when he was injured and he teared his Achilles. And I mean, anybody really would have paid Kevin Durant, to be honest. But I mean, still, it's the fact that you still went there and they were willing to accommodate you as best as possible. You feel me? So with that being said, and then you also had the Kyrie situation, who stated as soon as he got there, he felt like they didn't need a head coach. And so yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is, man. And so Steve Nash has won, I believe, 94 games and lost 67 during his time as a head coach, and has a postseason record of 7-9, winning, I believe, only one playoff series since he's been there. I believe that one playoff series was against the Boston Celtics previously, the one that we already know, where they were the only team to have gotten swept in last year's playoffs, unfortunately. So you had two particular situations right there. And that was just for me a big indication that this wasn't going to work in the long run. I know that the fact that Sean Marks hired Steve Nash in the first place because it was to appease Kevin Durant. Steve Nash had a prior record of working with Kevin Durant as a personal trainer, I assume, or a player development coach for the Golden State Warriors. So I guess he felt really comfortable to be, to have Steve Nash. He felt like he was cool. But we already know Kevin Durant's situation is completely different because even though we know Steve Nash wasn't the guy for the job, Kevin Durant does deserve a lot of blame in this situation. Let's not get this confused. Kevin Durant definitely deserves to be held accountable, not particularly for every situation. Last season, we know that he was hurt from, a good portion of the season also. But the fact of the matter is, while you're out, you can still vocalize yourself. You can still speak up against your teammates and hold them accountable. Also, if it's not your coach, then you got to be that guy in the locker room also. The leader of the team doesn't necessarily have to be just the head coach. It can be it can be a player. It can be an assistant head coach. There's always one guy that speaks out for the team when things just aren't in order. So I've been in a lot of team situations. I've been in a lot of scenarios where you had to work as a team. So I do have some understanding when it comes to things like this. So and it seems that they didn't have that in their locker room. They didn't, right? Oh snap! Let me drop the link in the in the invite in the comment section. I am tripping. Let me drop that. Come on now. I definitely want some of y'all to join. I am tripping. Y'all should have told me, man. Right? Okay. And then so it quickly went to a situation now with Ime Udoka being hired as the head coach for the Brooklyn Nets. So I'm gonna bring in my boy. You already know, my family, Rose Gold. He's gonna tap into this whole situation, and we're gonna get some different perspective.
Yep. Yeah, I didn't write in the comments.
In the comments,
because every time I do that, you always say, "I know, I just gotta get my little intro on," and then you forgot the one time to tell you.
No, because I was like, damn, why ain't nobody hop on? But feel me, I was just into it, so I was like, damn, I forgot to put the thing in the chat. So
there's a lot going on, man. Like we seen all this coming, man. We knew this NBA season was gonna be a great one, and it's living up to every second of the hype that we knew was coming our way. Man.
Yep. Nah,
we're in for a long season.
We got there. Nah, there's a lot of games left. But, right? Tell me I was right. Tell me I was right. They needed to fire Steve. I said that Steve Nash needs to get fired in the past.
You did. And it's crazy because, like, surfing the YouTube streets, I've seen that the Nets were already interested in Ime Udoka. So it was kind of like foreshadowing or it was like forecoming. Like we knew it was gonna happen, but you were definitely right because you called it 3 seasons ago. So I felt like they honestly dealt Steve Nash a bad hand though because
he had a lot.
Yeah, like a rookie coach, and that's why I feel for Darvin Ham, and that's why when he so I'm not even gonna bring up Darvin Ham because we're gonna keep it on the Nets for now. But I feel like it's not fair to give a rookie coach a team full of veterans, especially stars. You know what I mean? Like, depending, like with Tyronn Lue, I felt like that was a unique case. But then again, that's a LeBron James team. So LeBron James is like the coach in itself. So I feel like for Steve Nash, he got dealt a bad end because he never had a chance as a coach of that team, bro. When the star from the first season say that they don't need a head coach, that just goes to show you didn't have respect for Steve Nash. That alone. Yeah. Because Kyrie wouldn't have said that Popovich was his coach. You know what I mean? So it's just really honestly,
of course.
I feel like he got dealt a bad end. But now, where does this leave the team? Because changing the coach may make the Nets win a couple more games because it's a new leader or whatever. They may have somebody they respect, but that doesn't make the team better, in my opinion. They're still defensively efficient, like, you know what I mean, like, or insufficient, I should say. Like, they don't have any defense. They don't have any players outside of Kyrie and Kevin Durant. They don't really look like a good team right now, besides Claxton and maybe a small handful of guys. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, and then Seth Curry is still out too at the moment.
Exactly. So, where does that leave the team? Yeah, you change the head coach, but the team still needs work.
And
So
of course,
I'm confused about.
And you know, and to drop some statistics too, the Nets during their tenure, their efficiency ranks while they were under Steve Nash. So from 2020 to 21, they were first in offensive efficiency, and 22nd in defensive efficiency. In 21 to 22, they were 10th in offense in efficiency. On defense, they were 20th in defensive efficiency. And this year, they're 16th in offense and 29th in defensive efficiency.
So the defense increased last season, but plummeted right back down.
Yeah.
So and offense also went down gradually every season. So under Steve Nash, they were digressing as a team, and we noticed that. So the first year they made it to the playoffs, they got bumped. After, they were like one toe away from like making it to the Eastern Conference Finals. The second season after that, well, not even that. Before that, the first season they didn't even play. Durant didn't even play. That's one. Then the second season they made it to the playoffs, was an inch away from making it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Then the following season, they were a play-in team, correct? And they didn't make it to the playoffs last year.
No. They were a play-in team and they made it to the playoff. They lost to the Celtics. Yeah,
they lost. They got swept. They got swept. Yeah. Boom. And then now they're looking like a team. They're in the bottom half, like the bottom of the East. You know what I'm saying? So they were looking like they weren't even gonna make the playoffs this season. So they definitely digressed as a team every season for sure.
Nah, for a fact. You know,
me personally, I don't think the change of a head coach makes this team that much better. 10 games.
Not necessarily, no. But I think a trade is definitely due in order. I know, like with NBA trade deadline is way, way further down the line. So there's not going to have there's still a lot of basketball left before we even cross that bridge. As of right now, it's an NFL free agency. That's what's jumping right now at this moment. So we ain't even thinking about that at this moment. We're thinking about the start of the NBA season right now and how these teams are looking, on the early coaching fires. You know what I'm saying? Like the early records, the early MVPs. So, that's what we're thinking about and that's what we consider. But also, like I said, like you said, I do agree Steve Nash definitely was dealt a bad hand, just with the personalities and everything that was going on with Kyrie and KD being out and James Harden. There were also a lot of key pieces and a lot of things, we can also park to Sean Marks. Remember, before James Harden was on that team, there was Jared Allen, who was a really good defensive player. There was Jeff Green, Blake Griffin, LaMarcus Aldridge. So you had some good play. You had some players that can guard up, that can play defense on that team. You get what I'm saying? But there were times where Steve Nash wasn't playing these guys, or they let go of these guys. And I was figuring out, I'm like, why are we giving up our defensive players? Like, this team is not going to be able to play defense. I felt like even though we got James Harden, at the end of the day, the Nets lost James Harden anyway, but they lost. I felt like that was still a very big thing in the trade. If they would have been able to keep Jared Allen, that would have been a big plus, because that would have been their defensive anchor. And I'm telling you, they would have been dangerous, right?
Yeah.
But despite that, that's not how it worked out. And then so it led to this point with Steve Nash just being 2-5 as the head coach for the Brooklyn Nets. And he was fired. As I said, it wasn't going to last. But I don't know if it was Joe Tsai's, the owner's decision, or Sean Marks' decision, but it was going to lead to Ime Udoka being the head coach of this situation, because I didn't see Ime Udoka necessarily coming back to this franchise, especially being suspended. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was going to be fired or suspended, and then it was going to be an awkward situation for him to come back. And then I heard about how the woman on the job was, she wasn't suspended, or she, you know what I'm saying? So
and how the team gave him permission to get interviewed from other teams. So from that time, when that came out, I knew he was gonna be like he was gonna, obviously be in another team. Like, he was gonna come back.
And the moment the news broke, and the moment the news went public, they should have just fired him if they at that point. Well, there was no point in keeping him, you know what I'm saying, suspended. It was like, well, we can't use him, but we're going to suspend him. And then and then on the other hand, it came out that the female was
I think they did that just off of the strength of them being able to still pay him because of what he did. Because at the end of the day, what he did was a fireable offense, but it really was something that went on in their personal life. You know what I'm saying? So he did take the team to the finals the previous, like, that season. So,
but they cut his check though. They cut his check though. They cut his check in half, I believe.
Oh, so
they cut his check. So they suspended it and cut his check.
Anything though.
But he would have found a job somewhere else. He would have just like this situation.
Yeah, true.
There was definitely a situation where he would have found a different. It was only because they knew how valuable he was. Yeah. But they didn't want to fire him. But it was just because of the mishandle, how the information was mishandled and how it got out. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But come on now, you the former head coach of Brad Stevens, right? Who was the head coach and got the promotion. And then now the guy who was working under you gets the job, and he's doing better than what you was. That's why they didn't want to let him go, because they knew he was an asset. It's just that he fucked up. But look, I'm not saying he did what he did was right. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day,
but he was an asset.
He was an asset, and that's why they didn't fire him. But they were willing to suspend him.
Willing to let him walk away though, because you gotta understand, they let him walk practically.
I mean, they had to. I mean, what choice did they have? At that point, they couldn't look at Ime Udoka and be like, "No, you're our head coach."
So then it goes back to the point where they should have just fired him in the offseason, because then it would have just prevented all of this. You know what I'm saying? Because now, imagine if they would have fired him in the offseason, off rip, Steve Nash would have got fired. And another thing about Steve Nash, if you really look at the reports,
you think it would have really went down like that? You would have been like,
hell yeah. They would have wanted to grab him before any other team did. So they would have made that move, but they made it to where it was like, all right, a mutual agreement with Steve Nash. You get what I'm saying? So I honestly think Steve Nash could have went to Sean Marks and probably, because most people think it was one-sided because, they're 2-5, whatever, cool. But Steve Nash, they barely won the game yesterday, right? But they won. So I feel like Steve Nash went up to Sean Marks and was like, yo, look, these guys don't want to play for me. Like they, honestly, you could see the body language. They don't want to play for this dude, bro. They had shown no effort, bro. So it probably was a mutual thing. And I feel like Steve Nash will get another job in the NBA because, like you said, he's definitely top 5 point guards of all time, 2-time Hall of Famer. You know what I'm saying? I mean, a 2-time MVP. So at the end of the day, he's gonna get a job. Where to? I don't know. But my personal opinion, his best bet should be
with a young team.
A young team.
It should be with like Orlando or fucking
or getting an assistant coach job in a young team, and then work your way to the head coaching job and develop for that team just in case.
Or to the Spurs. He could do what Ime Udoka did.
Perfect.
Yeah, he should be like an assistant head coach for Greg Popovich.
That'll be perfect. He'll learn. He'll young come team. Under the tutelage of Greg Pop. Young team. He'll be able to learn the ropes from Greg Pop. Learn how to coach. still mix up, you put your own little touches to it, but you'll learn at least the X's and O's of how one of the GOATs does it. You know what I mean? Basically like how Steve Kerr came about. Steve Kerr played under Pop, Phil Jackson. You get what I'm trying to say? Like, come on. Like, he came up under like the two best coaches of all time. Maybe in any sport. You get what I'm trying to say? So, like, come on.
So where does this where do you think this leads the Brooklyn Nets though, with the hire of Ime Udoka? Because that's the real story right here.
Like
Steve Nash at this point.
Bro, I basically just answered that question. I said, I personally don't feel like that the change changes much. I feel like this season under Steve Nash, the way the season obviously was headed, they were looking at a 20-win season, right? 25-win season. Now, under Ime Udoka, a new coach, they probably win 10, 15 games more at best, which is still kind of not playoff playing team. So it doesn't make them that much better. They need a trade, bro. You get what I'm saying? Like, they need a trade. They need to get their defensive players back. Because look how the Cavs look. Yeah. All the defensive players that they got basically kind of went to the Cavs almost, right? Like the Cavs, like Jared Allen, you know what I'm saying? And they had a few guys that obviously went to Philly, but like the Cavs look great. That could have been what the Nets looked like. So I don't know, man. Like, they need a trade, bro. They need a big man in the paint, and they need a wing, bro. They don't have no problem on the offense. And Ben Simmons right now isn't worth a lick. So they can't use Ben Simmons to get those pieces back as of right now. So maybe Ime Udoka can get in Ben Simmons' head, make him build that confidence and become that defensive player that we know he could be. And that way they could possibly trade him, because we all know it's not going to work with that big three. So then it's like, or do they blow it up? Because remember, Durant wanted Sean Marks and Steve Nash fired, not just Steve Nash. So Durant technically they didn't appease Durant still. They still didn't pay Kyrie, which is another thing Durant wanted them to do. So do they blow it up? I don't know what they do, but I feel like that move itself doesn't make them any much better other than 10 wins, tops.
Okay.
Go ahead, Zach.
All right. Zach, you may proceed. You may coming on to the show. You can hop into it. We already touched a lot of ground here, so you're welcome to indulge.
All right. Well, what was we talking about? Did you hear about the news just now recently about what's his name? The Celtics head coach is now running for the Nets. Yeah,
we covered both. So we talked about Steve Nash fire and Ime Udoka. So you can go at it both ways. You can talk about one. You can talk about both. You can talk about Nash. You just give your opinion on it.
All right. So on my opinion, I think it was just a matter of time. I think they just needed to split ways because apparently, I think it was a few days ago, I believe it was Nash was expressing his frustration. I forget to whom and what he exactly was saying, but saying how he's expressing his frustration. I don't know if it's just with the team in general or whatever the case may be, but it's like you said, KD wanted him out, same thing. It was only a matter of time before Nash went, so might as well get it done with. I think they should have did it after last season because the team shouldn't have went out as bad as they did. And don't get me wrong, Boston's defense was great, but still, I guess Nash didn't do enough adjustments to at least win one game with the players that he had. That was a great team last year. So I say in that whole Nash aspect, it was only about time. Needed to happen. As a par for Ime Udoka, he's a good coach. So, but I don't know how he'll fix the team's issues. As I heard Rick saying earlier, how the defense is their biggest issue because it doesn't matter if KD scores 35 and Kyrie scores 40 and so on and so forth. If the other team is still scoring at every single time, you're not going to win that game regardless. So I think it was only a matter of time for Nash. Udoka, if he gets a spot, will help. But at the end of the day, defensively, it's just there's still such a huge liability that it's not going to make too much of a difference unless they fix that.
Nah, I hear you. We had a guest previously, Sky. He was I think you on the show last time?
No. I don't think I made that last show.
He's a Pelicans fans, and he had a comment. He said there's no helping Ben Simmons trash can. Nah,
Yeah,
he's a big part of this too.
yeah,
He definitely deserves a lot of blame because there was a lot of expectations with Ben Simmons. He was supposed to at least goddamn stick some defense. You know what I'm saying? Do something.
yeah,
Like it's very clear. It's very clear he hasn't been playing professional basketball for a year, and there was just no improvement. And it's like the biggest disappointment with Ben Simmons is like he was looked at as a player that could have potentially been I wouldn't say LeBron James clearly, but been very similar in a sort of way. He might not just him averaging 20 points with the addition of his rebounds and his assists and his defense. I mean, you would have had a complete package of a player if he had lived up to the expectations that we had thought he had in the past. And so and in this situation, they were going at the approach completely wrong to begin with. I mean, Steve Nash was coming out and saying Ben Simmons is not going to have to shoot. Baloney, bull job, bullshit. Out of here with that shit. Ben Simmons needs to goddamn shoot the ball. If he's going to be at the perimeter, he needs to shoot the ball. He needs to be even able to at least have these guys thinking he will. It's not even about whether you're going to make it. Just try. I mean, goddamn, you're open. You know what I'm saying? Like, just give it a shot. Like, you get those in the YMCA in the gym. Like, come on, bro. I take an open shot. Like, everybody
that's the
pulls
fact.
up to the park and is like, yo, let me get an open shot. You feel me? Like, come on, bro. You getting those in the league professionally? Come on, dog. Professional,
Yeah,
bro. You're getting wide open professionally. Like, come on. Like, you should be doing these guys dirty.
yeah.
Like, come on.
The no need to shoot is a bailout to 200%, and they know it because I remember it was DeRozan got slack a little bit a while back. Like, oh, DeRozan, you don't really shoot threes. It's a 3-point shooting league. He's like, I can shoot threes. He's like, I just choose to do. I get to my spots, whatever. But now you see him without hesitation. He's pulling up from threes, making you still got to shoot. Even Westbrook still shoots. At the end of the day, people may not want him to, but he's still like, what? I'm wide open. I have to take this. So that whole Ben Simmons doesn't need to shoot.
It should be crazy. His fingers, his release, like you be seeing his fingers look all crazy and stuff. Like it be all sideways. He be having them ET hands when the ball leaves his hands. Just like
I don't know his form.
We throwing up the West Coast sign when he shoots his jump shot. I think.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that, but
but he's been playing better.
He's playing well. He's playing well lately, which is nice.
But back to Ben Simmons though. But yeah, there's a lot of disappointment with Ben Simmons, and so right now at this moment, I mean, he's hurt. He's not playing at the moment. I due to knee soreness. Who drafted him in our fantasy too, by the way? Like that was it?
You see, at the time when I had picked him up, I didn't know he wasn't obviously playing basketball without playing basketball for a whole year. Clearly, because he's way off. Like you said, that you can tell that when he's playing, he's just a whole step behind. He's just not there together. So, yeah, I'm taking the L on that one, unfortunately.
Yeah, man.
I was hoping, but nah.
But here's where I'm gonna attack Rick's approach too. Rose Gold's approach, because he was talking about this, he was kind of looking at it from a negative aspect. I think it's going to greatly improve this team's chances to have a chance at being a title contender. I certainly agree. I think the Ime Udoka hire was a phenomenal pickup. I think it was how you trade James Harden and get Ben Simmons. Yeah, he didn't want to be there. I'm gonna attack that, but let me finish this though. I think it was a great addition for Ime Udoka to be the head coach, and that's why we talked about Ben Simmons, because I think Ime Udoka would be a phenomenal fit for Ben Simmons. I think he's gonna hold him accountable. I think even with the shooting thing, I think that would be a slow process on its own. But I think the defense is definitely going to pick it back up. I think they're going to set some, they're going to set some things in. I think they're going to improve on there. I don't think they're going to be the greatest team. I do agree that they should make some trades on that side of things. So Sean Mark still needs to do his job in order for this team to win a title. At this point, I think they can contend. But you have now, you have Kyrie and KD. They're still balling. They're still putting up numbers. They didn't have they didn't have some great games in the past. But I think, with Joe Harris and Seth Curry and having those guys back, and hopefully they can maybe get another piece, maybe another true point guard. What they need is defense. I think like a true point guard. I think trading James Harden was a big no. I think it was a very big negative because I felt like they were better with James Harden than without Ben Simmons. But in our minds, we felt like, James Harden, and I'm going to be referring to his comment here. But James Harden didn't want to be there. If he wanted to be there, if he was willing to make things work, of course, I wanted to keep James Harden. I felt like James Harden should have stayed on the Brooklyn Nets. But once it got to a point where he wanted to leave, and then it was quite clear that he wasn't going to be there, because remember, he was on the last year of his deal. James Harden was on the last year of his deal. So he already had let it known that he was, that he was going to be testing free agency. This was coming out before the season, remember. So the Nets offered KD, Kyrie, and James Harden max deals. They offered him all max deals last season. KD signed his contract that we already know. Kyrie didn't get vaccinated, so they pulled his contract. And because of that, that's when James Harden looked at his contract and was like, I don't know if I want to be here for long term, because I'm committed to winning a championship. So that I give James Harden. I got to give respect to respect his due. At least in James Harden accord, because he wanted to thug it out. He wanted to actually win a championship. He wanted to compete. So I don't blame him in that accord. I still feel like now in this situation, if it were to be how it is now, they would have been the team to win it all. But now I think they have a better chance. I think Ime Udoka is a really great coach to have in this situation. I think Kyrie Irving's. I wouldn't say they're not gonna come up again in the future, because Kyrie Irving is just an unpredictable player, and then so you never know. But I know that Kyrie Irving is definitely going to be better on the court, because everything is just going to mesh well. And I think he's going to be able to hide Kyrie Irving's ability on defense, because Kyrie can be a liability on defense to a degree. Right. So before we say anything else, man, please like and subscribe to CashSports. I would graciously appreciate it, man. Of course, man, for everybody that's tuning in, I'm loving it right now. We talking some ball. For anybody can join in, anybody can tap into the discussion about this Steve Nash, Ime Udoka hire, or anything you guys want to bring up in particular. Sky brought up, we had a comment where James Harden and Ben Simmons was brought up, and then we gave some perspective on how, or at least I gave some perspective, and my Rick too, on what the Nets are going to look like in the coming future. So please like and subscribe to CashSports. I would graciously appreciate it, because anything helps out the platform. Also, if you guys see that cash at the bottom, I would graciously appreciate any donations towards the platform, because any proceeds that I receive is definitely going to the channel, of course, right? So NBA season is still rolling right now. It's a bit undercover though, because at the end of the year, there's a lot of football going on. So it's a lot to keep up with basketball, football, and and baseball to a degree too, and college football. But NBA is jumping right now. It's still jumping right now. Season started. There's reasons like things happen in the beginning of the season, especially like a situation like Steve Nash getting fired. But you got Luka balling right now.
Yeah,
we got Luka balling right now, and Luka is coming in with a lot of intention and he's putting up some numbers.
Big time. Yeah, I think I remember we had discussed this before about like how this might be his year for the whole MVP. I could agree on that, especially the way he's starting the season off.
Mm-hmm.
I could say that he definitely has a very good, head start as opposed to everybody else right now, because he's, like you said, he's going off, he's doing his thing, and he looks unstoppable right now. So he's doing well, he's doing his thing. Can't wait to see what the rest of the season, how they go about doing it.
But they still have some things that they need to fix, though. And then some things that I do need to point out with the Dallas Mavericks. They're one of the worst defensive teams in the league right now that I'm familiar with. I believe they allow teams to score 119 points per 11 possessions. Worse, the only team worse than that is the Brooklyn Nets, that allow 121 points per 100 possessions. So, and right now the Dallas Mavericks are sitting at 3-3.
Yeah, they're not doing too hot, like record wise. So, like you said, they got things definitely to work on.
So they have some things that they got to clean up there. I mean, I know Luka is balling. They're gonna win some games. They're gonna lose some games, of course, in the future. But as things start to pace up, we're still waiting on a good month of basketball for things to settle in. Because it's not only Luka that's been balling though too. We got to give some props to Giannis, of course.
Oh yeah,
got to give some props to Giannis.
Staying consistent. He's just doing whatever it takes for that team to just win, and they are doing a lot of that. So,
and not only that, they're the only team that's undefeated right now. Yeah, they're the only team that's undefeated. So they're the number one team in the league, being 6-0. Even though 6-0 don't mean nothing in the league, but to see a picture of how this team is looking. But they've had 5 home games so far,
which is important.
They've had 5 home games and 1 away game. So of course, once they start getting these road trips in, and you're gonna start to see some losses take place going on the road. In that situation, of course, I don't believe the Dallas Mavericks are going to be the 10th seed in the West. Obviously they're going to be higher than that. I can predict so. But like I stated, with all this Luka hype, I mean, we appreciate all this Luka hype. But remember, I feel like I'm a bit traditional when it comes to the MVP race. I mean, I understand the argument of an MVP, the player being the most valuable to their team, and this is the reason why they're able to compete, so they should always be in the argument. But I think it's very valid enough to say that your team should be a higher seeding. Not every player, like I don't feel like just because you're the number one seed, that a player should just win MVP just because he's the number one seed, because we know it's a team game. It's all about the collective. But I'm a bit traditional in the sense that at least the top three teams in each conference, or at least top 4 player in those conferences, the best player out of those teams should really be the player, one of those players to win MVP.
I agree on that note, because I'm definitely along those lines as well. Unless you're doing something historic, I don't think you should get up like 1 over on those players that are leading their team to actual winning and better records. So I'm definitely on your side in terms of that, with the traditional sense of like usually the top 3 seeds should be the ones that should earn that MVP, trophy at the end of the season, especially if those players are really doing it all, because they're doing it all. Just like, let's say for Giannis's case, he'd be doing it just like Luka's doing it, but his team is actually getting the wins, as opposed to Luka's usually not getting that. They don't come up with the best record, or they get taken out early in the playoffs. So I understand what you mean, and I agree. I agree.
Mm-hmm. You know, and just to shed some light here on what Luke is doing for the season at this moment, presently constructed. So he's averaging 36.7 minutes a game, scoring 36.7 points per game, with an average of 8.7 assists and 9.5 rebounds, shooting 50% from the field, 22% from three, with free throws 78% free throws and 1.7 steals per game. Right. So
And those are good numbers as long as the team starts to win because of them. They can't keep going, oh, I won 2 games, lost 1, won 2 games, lost, they can't. It's gotta be like, all right, we just won 10, lost 2. We just won another 10, lost. That has to contribute and turn into wins at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so for me, I'm all on the Luka hype. I see him being that sort of player. But as for right now, man, it's Giannis in the front for me. It's Giannis in the front. It's Giannis in the front for me. I mean, they're 6-0. He's shooting 58% from the field. He's averaging 33 points, 30 points, just like Luka, with 12 rebounds, 5 assists. Not the assist obviously isn't in the same category as Luka, because he's averaging more assists and more points. But I mean, let's not poo-poo what Giannis is doing too.
No, 100%. I agree.
And because they were back-to-back games where Giannis was also dropping 40 points per game, and they're the number 1 seed in the league. And now we know it's early, right? We know it's early, so we're not. I'm not. It's not like I'm sitting here and I'm saying this is what it is. I'm just saying, speaking from early favorites. That's all we coming off of. That's all we're going off at this moment, right? So, and then that's my opinion. I think Giannis is early is right now early MVP, just within the span of these couple games. And it is what it is, but we gonna see. We're gonna see, because Luka is definitely gonna be in that. I would hope so. The Dallas Mavericks can improve here in a bit. Hopefully, Luka can have a long season, because we know that he's in shape. We know that we see him balling right now, so it looks like he's in playoff Luka mode early in the season. So we just obviously it's a long season, so you're gonna have some ups and downs along the way, but I don't see Luka falling off or dropping any point in the season, but not to diminish other players also, because we talking about Luka, but other players are still playing basketball too. Like, these guys are gonna have some surges where they're gonna be going off in their own degree, right?
Yeah, definitely agree.
Like I wouldn't underlook the Trailblazers right now. I feel like if Damian Lillard can end up being the number 1 seed in the West, like, I don't know the chances of that happening. I'm still not thinking that now. But if he were to be in that argument, averaging 30 or putting himself where he's being a presence every time. I mean, we know that Damian Lillard is. But I think it would be good to see Damian Lillard in an MVP conversation also.
Okay, yeah, I agree. And he is the caliber of player that can definitely get there. It's not, oh, there's no way or anything like that. As long as he remains healthy and these wins continue to come with the team, for sure. Because, Damian can play, and he usually plays very well.
Yeah, and I think they're constructed well. They signed Anthony Simons, a young player who's coming up in his game right now. Jeremy Grant, I thought he was a really good pickup on their squad, because he's a body, and I think he's a really good player. Nurkic. I think he's a good player, a front court player as a center position. We gonna see about Nurkic though. But to be honest, though, I'm not watching all the Trailblazers games, so I'm speaking.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, we're not watching all of the Trailblazers game. We see the glimpse of what we can see when there's national games, right? But going off stats, going off what we see, I mean, Nurkic is not necessarily the best player, but he's still a body. He can still do something on the court, and we've seen the matchups that he's gone against, and we're just getting, like I said, it's something we're gonna have to see in the future.
Yeah,
right,
100%. And he's a good compliment, I think, as well to Damian, because he's not a ball dominant big. He usually just cleans up the mess. He has some post game too to switch it up. So I think those two as a team tandem is very nice. And like you said with Anthony Simons, whenever him and Dame switch out, it's not like the Trailblazers lose a step in any way, because Simons can really, really play, and he's been able to play for a couple seasons now.
Yeah, I definitely felt like it was a negative to still lose CJ McCollum though. I disagree with that, and because now that when we're looking at it and how CJ McCollum is still in addition to the Pelicans and what he's doing, they could still kept him, man. You could have had Anthony Simons still come off the bench and still blossom in that way, right? Kind of like what the Warriors are doing. They like to keep their pieces. They don't like to share their toys. All right.
No, they don't.
They want to keep their roster as much as possible.
Especially if that roster wins. Yeah, they like to. They're like, all right, this can win. We're gonna keep it for as long as we can until we don't win. So yeah, I agree.
So that's their philosophy, and it's been working. So I felt like with the Trailblazers, even though they hadn't necessarily been in the NBA Finals, I think they were just one piece away, not necessarily giving up CJ McCollum, but I think they were just one piece away from over that hump. They just needed. I had a conversation in the past where I had some guys, and I feel like you need a really good 3 to 4 on your team in order for you to win a championship. Right, having a small forward and a power forward, like you can't have no mediocre forward on your team. You need to have somebody who can, at least by bare minimum, stick defense. Bare minimum stick defense, and they have to be able to at least guard the 1 to the 4. Not so much the 4, but at least the 1 to the 3. 1 to the 3 is probably mandatory at this point.
Yeah, that's usually a minimum. It's like if your small forward can't do at least that, they don't get much minutes.
Yeah,
at all.
You know what I'm saying? So as a small forward, I feel like you have to be able to guard at least the 1 to the 3 primarily, and then the 3 and then the 4 is subjective depending on the player, their size, how they can really go at it. But that, like I said, that's subjective, right? So I felt like, now that they have Jeremy Grant, just imagine if Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum and Jeremy Grant and Anthony Simons, just imagine that squad, them together. Now things are starting to unravel, and things are looking up for Chauncey Billups. It's looking like a really good situation. I'm happy for Chauncey Billups to get that situation. I felt like Chauncey Billups or Ime Udoka or even the Mark Jacksons of the world deserve another shot, because even though I felt like with the Nets situation, they could have hired a veteran coach, but the reason why I was so against Steve Nash becoming the head coach for the Nets to begin with was because he was a rookie head coach. Right, and I'm not saying hire somebody like Mike D'Antoni. Oh God, no! Like, please, God, do not hire Mike D'Antoni.
What you mean? 7-second offense. Just put up more points than the other team, and you'll win. It makes sense.
But you know what though? His philosophy. The crazy thing about it is it works now. Like that strategy, it does work now, especially in today's offense. Like in the way the game is played, that sort of play is happening more often than not, right? It is happening all the time. It's just the fact that I think with Mike D'Antoni's team, I mean, he just didn't implement. I mean, the stigma was that he didn't implement no hard defensive schemes into his game plan. You know, there was no defensive adjustments during the game. You know, and you can maybe throw in an argument that he didn't have like the necessary personnel. But that's still, you know, a defensive scheme still comes into a great effect, especially during playoff time, especially if you're playing against Steve Nash, who has played under one of the greatest coaches, especially when you're playing against the Warriors, who are one of the greatest offensive teams to have ever played. You know, and that's my point. Is Ime Udoka had the Boston Celtics really sticking D. They were a defensive team. They were a really good defensive team under. And now that he's with the Brooklyn Nets, it's a completely positive situation, right? So you got a lot of great teams. And I know we were talking about the Trailblazers, so I was just speaking just from at least, you know, black head coaches getting the opportunity. That was just throwing that out there. But yeah, I'm glad to see Chauncey Billups get now he's in it's the Trailblazers are looking good. Now I don't know them winning a championship. Like I said, I still think they're a valid piece away from getting over that hump. Maybe, just maybe, but we'll see.
Yeah, they're a big maybe for me, only because like the West is tough the way it is. There's just so many teams that can come out and win in terms of the West seeding, just because, you know, you have the more for sure teams like the Warriors, the Nuggets, you know, those are the teams that's like, all right, these teams for the most part are always going to be the ones you got to look out for. You know, they also have like the sleeper teams, which could be Grizzlies, you know, Pelicans can come out of nowhere. The Suns, of course, are always a solid team that have proven that they usually are in that top spot. So, yeah, the Trailblazers, they got just a tough seeding in terms of being on the West. So there's a lot more teams that they have to fight through to get there. But I could see it happening. It's definitely not something unheard of for that team. Like, it's not so far off that, oh, no way they would win, as opposed to a team like, I don't know, like the Hornets or something. Is like, oh, there's really no shot for them. The Trailblazers have a solid shot because, like you said, the team is just made well. And I do agree that, you know, they could have and they should have definitely kept McCollum still, because, you know, he's such a huge piece and he does help that team so much in the past. Like if Dame is having an off game, CJ would go off. Now it's like, all right, if Dame and Simons are not putting up those numbers, who's going to be the one to do it? Nurkic maybe sometimes, but usually CJ was always that, all right, it's not working, or they're doubling Dame, so I can dish it off to CJ. But I think they have a chance, but I agree they might be missing one or two pieces just to give them a sure shot towards the title run.
Hey, so what's your thought on the Cavs? Anybody can drop their opinion on the Cavs, man. If you're tuning in, if you're watching the stream right now, hey, if I'm asking a question, you can type up in the comment section. But what's your thoughts on the Cavs right now?
Honestly, I don't watch Cavs games, but I have heard that they are playing very well. And from the few like highlights I would see and the glimpses of games that I would get when I'm scrolling through, they have a solid young core. Like they surprise a lot of teams. When I see like, oh, so-and-so played the Cavs, I'm like, I'm still in the mindset of, oh, they probably got, you know, washed. They're still rebuilding this, that, and the third. And it's usually either a close game or the Cavs might sneak a win in. And I'm always shocked. And I see some of the numbers and some of the players. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that this person's that good, or I didn't think this person was going to do too much. But they're a solid. And they got, what's his name? Didn't they get in the trade? I believe it was Mitchell, no? Or I'm thinking of somebody else.
Donovan Mitchell?
Yeah, he's on the Cavs, no?
Yeah. That's the main. He's pulling through. He's pulling through for the team. I'm starting out. I mean, and I'm just gonna throw out a stat here with Cleveland so far, and just from that sample of games that he's already played in, he's averaging 32.2 points per game so far. So he's averaging 30 points right now, and he's lighting it up. And during his tenure with the Utah Jazz, he's averaged 23.9 points. But we know we had a bigger sample with him with the Utah Jazz compared to what we see now. But I already seen my predictions were seeing that Donovan Mitchell was going to be able to progress as a star in this league, and I could see him being a all NBA first team, all second team player. And because we've seen that, we've seen glimpses of him of that in the playoffs. We've seen him drop numbers in the playoffs. We've seen him ball in the playoffs, right?
Big time.
We've seen him put up some numbers. It's just the fact that the Utah Jazz don't be winning these series.
Yeah,
he puts up numbers when they lose. And so, but I was saying in the past that with Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell, I just didn't see it working because they were paying Rudy Gobert as the second best player on the team. And if it were any other situation, he would have been paid the third. He would have been the third best player on the team. They needed a number 2. Yeah, they needed a number 2, and Rudy Gobert wasn't that. They needed another scorer. They needed somebody, right? Like I said, they needed a wing. They needed a really good 3, or at least a combo. You know what I'm saying? A wing, like just for within that frame. At least that's my opinion.
No, 100%. I agree. And then, like you said, Mitchell is one of those players that can develop into that star role, which he's, I think, at right now. As long as he continues to play throughout the Cavs, like you said, they just needed that extra piece, especially for the Jazz to continue to move on. But no, like with him being on the Cavs, all I've heard so far is good things, and they have a solid squad, which is I wouldn't say role players, but everyone on this team kind of plays a good supporting role around him, and so he's averaging his 30 plus. The rest of them are averaging 10 and up, 12 and up, 13 and up. So these are guys that don't necessarily, need the ball in order to be like crazy effective. They can find their spot up, cut, whatever the case may be. I think they just need like another piece to go along with Mitchell, because they have a lot of good defenders, especially with Jared Allen at the center. I think another good solid piece to go with Mitchell can really like put them up into a playoff team and like a threat to some championship teams, as in like it could be that team that sneaks by them and surprises them and stops one of those championship teams from getting to that finals games. So I think they just need that other star piece just to complement with Mitchell. But I think so far, from what I've been hearing with the Cavs, it's good things, and they're just going up, and they are surprisingly better than what most people would think that they should be at this point.
Well, I think that somebody that we got to put into effect here is Darius Garland. And reason being, I didn't expect you to bring him up because, he's injured right now. So there really isn't anything to talk about him until he returns from injury, because he had a laceration on his eye. So that was the reason, because I drafted him. I picked him up on my fantasy, and I let him go because he was out. So I wasn't gonna, and I have Brandon Ingram hurt too. So I was like, nah, I'm not gonna have 2 injured guys on my team. So I said I'd rather just keep Brandon Ingram than Darius Garland. But yeah, he was coming into his own though. And Darius Garland is that player. He's the player that's supposed to be beside him, along with Donovan Mitchell for this team. Like the Cleveland Cavaliers, they have a young squad. They have a young team, and so this is a team, in a way, if they can build that chemistry over time, and they can sync in the future, this could be a team that can stay for a long number of years.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
So
and so once Darius Garland comes back, you have I think Evan Mobley, who is a Rookie of the Year candidate last year. I think he still has time for major improvement, but during this time, he doesn't really need to come to that point at this
Mhm.
moment, right? But I think he's a body, right? And then when Darius Garland comes back, he's the true point guard. But he's the true point guard for this team.
Mhm.
And then so now you're gonna have Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, Karis LeVert, Jared Allen, Robin Lopez for whatever he's there for, and still Kevin Love. I mean, like you have a legit team. I don't know if Kevin Love is still going to be on this team though. When that's all said and done by the trade deadline. But it's still a valid enough team to do some things in the playoffs, I think.
I could agree with that. And I did forget about Darius Garland because I do remember last season I heard tons about him. I did see some clips and games of him, and he could definitely play. So I can definitely see what you mean as him supposing to be that other guy for Mitchell to play alongside with. I can definitely see it for sure because, like, when I first heard his name in the All-Star game, I was like, who is this guy? And then when he was playing pretty solid. And then, like I said, when I looked into him more, I realized, like, oh, yeah, this kid is actually pretty good. And he definitely will be good. And as long as he continues to go up as he is, he'll be good for a long time. So I can see what you mean as this young team developing and then getting better over time. So as long as they keep their core intact, they can do like what the Warriors did and just kind of build over time with the same players, and that'll be their team that they can use to make that championship run with just swapping out key role players here and there. So I can see it.
Of course. Yeah. And then Boston Celtics are above 500. Like I said, I know we were just talking about this, and it's still pretty early on in the season, but I mean Boston Celtics, they're above 500. We don't see them being below 500. How do you think about the Boston Celtics? How do you think they've been looking since the season started?
With them being above 500, they're about kind of
Well, without
like
Ime Udoka.
well, yeah, that's what I was gonna get. Like they're about where I expected them to be without like the head coach that they originally planned to be with for the season.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not too surprised about it. I guess not too shocked on it. But they're players. They're two star players that doing what they're supposed to be doing. Everybody else is doing their roles, I guess. So I don't know. They're kind of exactly where I expected. So I'm not too shocked that they're placing. They're not any better or worse than I thought they would have been at this point in time. I don't know. I kind of would have to wait till a little more after Christmas when those like 20 games and stuff kind of fill out to see like if they're really trending up or down. But as of right now, they look about as well as I thought they would have after the whole news and everything broke out. So I'm not too shocked on their placing.
I got you. Definitely agree. And yeah, I'm looking at them right now too. I mean, they're first right now. They're first in 3-point field goals made. They make 16 field goals. They make 16 3-pointers a game. And the first in the league. Right, they're first in free throw, which is if they can be first in free throw going into the playoffs, that's huge.
Yeah.
In free throw percentage, being 85% from, I think having Malcolm Brogdon was definitely a very good piece to add into this team. And so, you know what? Let me ask this now. So clearly, they're rivals. Well, I wouldn't say they're long-term rivals because we know they're not like the Knicks and the Celtics. They're not like an old team. It's just the Brooklyn Nets. But they're still in the same division or Eastern Conference, I may say. I mean, NBA divisions don't really count as much in basketball. But nonetheless, back to the discussion. Back to the matters, they're going to be going against each other. They're going. The Brooklyn Nets will be going against the Boston Celtics. Do they beat them?
As both teams are constructed right now, yeah, the Celtics beat the Nets. Because then it's not like the Nets, when they had lost to them last year, they didn't improve much, especially defensively on that end. Well, as the Celtics, for the most part, it's like both teams. What I'm looking at is they're for the most part the same. So they beat them last time convincingly. They're going to do it again because the Nets haven't fixed the main issues with that team, and the addition of Ben Simmons is not really showing anything up. Like, yes, they have Seth Curry, which would be a huge piece. You know, they still have Joe Harris, but Seth Curry, as of right now, as long as he comes back healthier and playing the way he was before he got hurt, then they have a better shot. But until defensively that team is fixed, I still see the Celtics beating them because defensively the Celtics will still do what they do. So that won't change. But then the Nets still will not be able to stop them at the end of the day. So KD can have 40, Kyrie can have 40, but if both Tatum and Brown have 40, it cancels out. Plus, the rest of the guys are scoring too, so the Nets are just going to lose, just like they did before. So
yeah, they need another body. I think losing Blake Griffin was a loss for whatever it was. It was a loss for the Nets because I think he did improve defensively. I think he knows that how crucial it was to be an off the ball player, and I think he developed into that player later on into his career.
Definitely agree.
But I've stated that the Nets were losing defensive pieces as the years progressed. They invested way more into offense and just neglected defense over time, and they are a defensive liability. Me personally, I'm just not convinced on Nicholas Claxton. I think he is a good player. It's not to talk shade on him. I just don't see him as your starting 5 center.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Definitely not starting.
I just don't see him as your start. Like, he's good coming in. I think he's better as a 4 than a 5, even though he does have some size. He is like a 6, but I think he would be. I think he'd be way more of an advantage as a 4. I guess like I just don't see him as your starting 4 or 5. And for that to be a recipe for success. I mean, they're one of the worst defensive teams in the league for years. It's not by accident. He's been there. He's been there. You get what I'm saying? He's been there for years. So like that's what I'm going off of. And obviously it's just the shoulders shouldn't just bear so responsibly on him. I mean, clearly, there's Kyrie and KD that plays into it also, and there's other role players that play into that too. But when you're the 5, when you're the center, you're supposed to lead in that aspect, or at least or generically. You get what I'm saying? Like that's almost the norm from what we've seen in the past. If that is at least missing, like the 5 is supposed to be, in a sense, the tough guy, somebody who's supposed to be there and dominate. The best 5s in the game, and you're seeing it from Jokic and Embiid isn't looking like an MVP at this moment, but I mean we could see that coming blossoming later on in the season. But he's definitely into that conversation. You even got Bam. I don't to an extent DeAndre Ayton. So you could throw that out there. So so you're playing against some guys who are a little bit stockier. Even to an extent. With Jaren Jackson Jr. and Steven Adams. Like those are guys you're going to go against a lot of teams who play physical. And
yeah, I've never been sold on Claxton personally. Ever since he's coming into that starter role, it hasn't been. I'm like, oh, maybe it's just temporary. They'll fill in the spot with something, and they just have it.
They've been sticking with them.
Yeah, I don't get it, but
they've been sticking with them. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Like, why is he here for? I'm like, why is he here for so long? Or why is he in this position for so long? Like I said, I'm not saying he's trash. I think this is his best season so far. This is his
No, he's
best season
definitely
so far.
playing better, which
But
is
it's
good.
mm-hmm.
But it's not enough, and it's not what the Nets need. They need a lot more than just that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Nah, they do. They do. Yeah. So we're gonna have to see. We're gonna have to see for sure. What about the Knicks? Being the
the who?
same old the Knicks.
The what, bro? Nah, I don't.
You know,
I know zero of that team, bro. Absolute nothing. There's no way. No way.
oh man. You know, there's always some conversation about the Knicks in basketball, man. Whenever you're talking about it, they're just regular, man. They're just passing in the breeze. It's a
Literally,
sad thing, man. They really should have came. They really should have gotten Donovan Mitchell. They should have did everything they could to get Donovan Mitchell.
they just nixed it again every time they had it. Everyone's like, "Oh, this is the team he's going to. This is what it's looking like." And then it's just like, "Yeah, no. Apparently, things fell through. Oh, by the way, he's on the Cavs." It's like you guys had one job, and it was just to get this player, and you could not. And I don't know.
You know,
Like I said, it's a team I don't follow, so
here's the and so I'm gonna give you some insight on this. So here's the issue with the Knicks, right? One, they were tampering, or they were doing whatever. Well, they weren't tampering. No, there wasn't anything about the Knicks tampering. So let me not say that. But you know, they were pretty aggressive on trying to get Jalen Brunson.
yes,
Right. And so this move was at first glance, it was extremely confusing for me why they were so aggressive to try to get Jalen Brunson. And he's a really good player. I think it was a great pickup. And I think even going after Donovan Mitchell, giving up some picks and aggressively getting Donovan Mitchell, and then with Jalen Brunson being a free agent, you could have still gotten both players. You could have still gotten Donovan Mitchell and Jalen Brunson. But it was the fact that the Knicks wanted to they went to big balls for some reason, because the argument was they didn't want to trade RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett was off the table. They were looking at RJ Barrett as somebody who was going to be one of the future pieces of this franchise. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm in that category. I think there is some upside with RJ Barrett. Is it looking like it at this moment right now? No. But the way the Knicks wanted to try to big dick the Utah Jazz was by paying RJ Barrett. Right? Because there were some headlines in between saying that the Jazz, remember, because Danny Ainge for the Jazz wanted like hella picks. He wanted like 11 first-round picks for Donovan Mitchell. Really, like I don't remember it. I just remember it was like some outrageous number. It was like 7, 8, something like that. Like, I want that many picks. I'm like, come on, bro. Fuck out of here with that shit. Like,
no team is gonna gut themselves
be realistic.
like that.
Like, come on, bro, be realistic now. You know, so I just remember something like that. But I know that there was some conversation between the Knicks and Utah Jazz because it was known that he did wanted to trade him in the past. Oh, I got a comment here. New subscriber. Oh, thank you. Good looking out. New subscriber, Mr. Important.
Nice.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Right. But yeah, man. So damn, what was I talking about? Oh, Donovan Mitchell.
Knicks,
yeah, Donovan Mitchell. So Donovan Mitchell, right? It was pretty clear that I knew that he was gonna leave the Utah Jazz. He wasn't gonna stay there. I mean, come on, nobody stays with small
Yeah,
franchises.
unfortunately.
Nobody stays with small market teams anymore. Unfortunately, right? So it was,
Yeah.
and I stated before. I mean, Rudy Gobert just sucks as the second best player on your team. It was. Come on, bro. Like you can't be shooting 4 shots a game in the playoffs. You know, like you're being paid what $200 million. Come on, bro. You gotta give up. You gotta give up 20. You
Yeah.
gotta give up 20 or something.
Well,
Nah, bro. There's no shooting 4 shots a game, bro. There's no
they were
shooting
just
4 shots a
going
game.
on everyone. A lot of people that defended that argument were just like, yeah, but defensively, he's like, that's not a 200 million worth. Like, it's
Yeah,
at the end of the day, it's not realistically.
exactly. And so that wasn't a recipe for success. And then so that led to the Utah Jazz ultimately diminishing their team and trading away Rudy Gobert and getting hella assets for him and assets, and the Utah Jazz got hella picks too. So there was some discussion with the Knicks early on, but then it froze up because I think because obviously they couldn't agree to terms on
Mhm.
the players that they wanted to trade. So it froze up. They've invested more. They invested more time into Jalen Brunson, paid RJ Barrett out of spite, right? Just be like, we're gonna pay him because that's to let us know we're not letting him go. And then after trading him, they were like, okay, we're ready to talk about Donovan Mitchell. And then on the other end, Cleveland is like, we got F out of here, bro. We're trading for him. Through whatever picks, players that they needed, and gave them what they needed, supply and demand. That's what the Cavs did. Supply and demand. We got the picks, we got the players. Let's do the trade. Knicks thought they had leverage. The Knicks didn't have no leverage. The Knicks didn't have shit.
The Knicks haven't had leverage in years.
They didn't. The only leverage they have is their picks. Obviously, the Knicks picks are one of the most valuable picks in the draft. You could get a high, and probably the one that they give away would be the number 1 pick, the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah, it would be that generation talent that's like, damn it. Yeah, that would be their luck.
So that could have been the situation. So the Knicks didn't have any leverage. They felt like they probably had the leverage with RJ Barrett, but remember, Donovan Mitchell was a player that they wanted. Donovan Mitchell was a player that wanted to come to New York, that wanted to be a Knick. That already had it in his mind that he was going to be a Knick. He thought he was a New York Knick up until the point he found out, just like the rest of us. He found out like the rest of us.
That's nuts.
Hey, so if you don't know, I'm referring to the comments because we had somebody just comment under here about Ime Udoka, the Nets grabbing Ime Udoka. They hired they're going to hire him. Like the Brooklyn Nets, the Boston Celtics already gave permission for Ime Udoka to leave, and then so in the coming days, watch, you're gonna see Ime Udoka be announced as the head coach for the Brooklyn Nets. You're gonna hear it. There's already numerous sources about it. If you look into it, if you type up Ime Udoka on Google, you're already gonna see numerous headlines about it. So trust me, it happened just like literally, probably like maybe within a half an hour ago before I even started this stream. So it was pretty recent, or like, yeah, pretty recent.
Yeah.
So yeah, Nets did hire Ime Udoka as is going to hire Ime Udoka as their head coach. Permission. I get exactly where he's coming from, because if I'm Ime Udoka, I'd be like, yeah, I'm going to
literally.
Yeah, that's what, if I'm Ime Udoka, I'll give him the finger, and I'm going to the Brooklyn Nets. because they did him dirty. I mean, obviously, that was a very I'm not obviously he committed some negative acts on his own Not to say that it was anything out of the ordinary. I mean, all he was doing is fraternization on the job. And trust me, it goes on all the time, bro. Come on
no,
now. Like,
100%,
it goes
100%.
on all the time, bro. Like, and I'm telling you, I'm giving you a perspective for somebody who's been in the military, right? I've been in the service, been on a ship, in the Navy. Bro, that stuff goes around in there too, right? It happens, man. It's human nature. Like, we naturally just do these things with each other. So the fact that this just came out, it was really because of the point that there was some gossip or some allegations that the female that he was with was somebody that was within the organization.
Yeah, I think it was someone higher up. I would assume it's the reason why he got such a mean hammer hitting on him, but it is what it is.
Nah, for sure. Good looking out on that, Mr. Important. Right? Like and subscribe, man. Like and subscribe to Cash Sports Podcast. We're here to debate, talk about basketball, football, today's basketball, because we had some breaking news. Please like and subscribe to the podcast, please. And obviously it is optional. I do have a cash at the bottom of the screen. If you see it, it's going from your left to your right. I graciously appreciate any donations. It is optional. Any proceeds that I receive goes back into the channel. But at the end of the day, what's free is come on here, it's a comment, talk shit, talk about your favorite team, talk sports, because that is free. And that I can welcome at any time, right? Because you can come on here and get something off your chest. If your team suck, you come here, get it off your chest, man. Just keep it within, the YouTube guidelines, because I'm not trying to get no strikes here, and especially I don't want nobody saying no hate speech or saying something something crazy, because it's a different world out here. I can admit I have a sailor's mouth, right? That phrase that's there, it definitely exists. It like the way we speak with each other is definitely horrible. But obviously I'm coming on in the civilian world, so you have to be able to come at this approach a whole lot differently. So, but yeah, you can definitely come on here and get it off your chest. And if your team's winning, if you want to talk about your team, if you want to boost your team, you want to hype up your team, you want to shout out your team, come on and do it on Cash Sports, right? Let us know. So that's what we're here for.
Speaking of teams winning, you know what team just won? Oh my goodness! Won the chip. We won our first game, championship guaranteed.
Oh Woo. God, no, man! The Lakers, man, they breaking my heart, man. Basketball just doesn't seem the same with the Lakers not winning basketball. And Rose,
can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. You back in?
Oh, look who came right at the right time.
No, I had a phone call. Sorry.
Hello. This is Rose Gold here.
What y'all talking about, though? What y'all talking
about? We just finished up. We were talking about a lot, man. We were talking about Ime Udoka. Basically, I was giving some perspective about the coach, but we talking about the Lakers right now. We're talking about the Lakers. We just brought up the Lakers.
What's the topic though? Like, what's going on? Like the record, the win? What y'all talking about?
Well, Zach just brought up the point. They just got their second dub.
No, first dub.
Oh, I'm about to say second dub.
Oh, they didn't get their second one?
No, it would be news across the world if they caught the second one. Yeah. 2 wins? Holy
it was national news when they won the first one. If they won the second one, we would have had a championship parade.
Yo, did y'all see those? Did y'all see those memes with Patrick Beverly? They said he won his second chip in 6 months.
That was the biggest one. Yeah, he celebrated for the littlest things.
But bro, he can celebrate for the culture, bro. For the culture.
That's how you know he has not won anything crazy ever, like NBA wise.
He's one of the people I would put up for the trade, bro. For trade talks.
Really?
He said right. It's expiring and he ain't doing shit. So get his ass. Him and Kendrick none. Trade them both.
Oh yeah, but my thing about it is they not beating the Pelicans tomorrow. Hey,
Honestly,
honestly,
maybe
I'm
not,
not
bro.
gonna. I'm not gonna lie though. Yo, I'm not
Mm,
gonna lie to you guys, bro. They need to start mustering up some wins some way, somehow. So they
yeah.
have to beat the Pelicans tomorrow, bro.
Mhm.
They have to. They beat the Nuggets, bro. So that's not a bad. That was a
Yeah,
good win.
yeah. That
Yeah,
was
no, that's a
definitely a
good
good
win for
win.
them.
That
That
was
was
a
a good
They,
win
good
for them.
win. That was a good team. The Nuggets wanted to win that game. It,
mm,
it was it was a it was a good win, bro.
uh,
It was a good win. The only team that's playing as expected is the Bucks right now, bro. No other
yeah,
team is playing like how we
up
thought
to
they would
par.
play. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
Hmm.
the Grizzlies just got walked out the building by the Jazz. You get what I'm saying? Like
mm,
Cleveland is like three. Like the Bucks are the only one that's actually like really playing up to par. Everybody else, like the Clippers, the Nets, the Lakers, everybody's playing shitty, bro. So
yeah.
I feel like the
But
Lakers
I'm
are not in a bad position right now, bro. They muster up a few wins, bro. They get a nice little
mm,
streak going.
yeah.
I feel like that moment, that win, it wasn't just a win, bro. Like it was
Mm,
Darvin's Hand's first win. The way they celebrated, the way he reacted, like emotionally
mm.
after with the press conference. You see, he shed a few tears for Russ. Like I felt that though. Like, no,
We did it, baby.
no, but that's the difference. No, but that's the difference between a Darvin Ham and a Steve
And a
Nash that I
Frank.
was trying to mention earlier. You get what I'm saying? Like
Mm,
they're both
mm,
rookie coaches, but Darvin Ham wasn't a star player, none of that, but just that effect that he has on the locker room. Because at the end of
yeah,
the day, they couldn't shoot worth a lick, but they were
yeah,
playing defense every single game, bro.
yeah,
Yep.
They're one of
yeah.
the top
Defensively,
right?
they're trying, which is the
Their
biggest thing.
effort.
Last season, they were just like you see them defeated almost every single game. This
Oh,
game,
they
like this
go.
season, they're trying, and
And
that's
this year,
everything.
like you seen a little bit of defeat the first three games. Like, oh shit, like damn, like you seen we're
Yeah.
chucking up shots. Like you could see it still, but they were at least trying. Like you said, they were showing effort. They believed in each other. They still picking each other up when one fall. Ain't nobody walking away. Everybody's picking each other up when everybody's on the ground.
Hmm.
It's still camaraderie. It's still like it's nothing like last season, bro, at all.
Mm, mm,
Last season it was none of that, bro. Like, and I definitely definitely Darvin Ham, and it's not
mm,
showing in the wins yet. But
mm,
I'm telling you, bro, they get a few wins, bro. Like they go 5-5 because they were 0-5 before they got the win. So they go 5-5. I feel like they're gonna turn around. Like I feel like it's gonna be like I'm talking about with Russ
mm,
on the team
mm,
because he has to stay off the bench though.
mm.
Yeah, yeah. The on the bench thing is clicking for him. I think predominantly because he's coming off the bench. He can, and I think the biggest thing, the reason for that with it working is now when he comes off the bench, he's that ball dominant guy again. He's like, I could be myself without any
Guess
like,
what though?
oh, did I make sure so and so touched the ball? He's like,
What though, Zach? It's not even just that though. It's not even just him. He's letting because our problem, other than the big three, because the big three was always scoring. The big three was always getting their buckets, but they were trying so hard to get Russ going that our bench couldn't really get going until it was like spurts. But now with Russ playing with the bench squad, him playing with Reeves and Winnie and Gabriel, like they're scoring like now. Like they weren't scoring in the first three games. Like with Russ, they're scoring now because it's like it's just with Russ. They're not playing with AD, Russ, and
exactly. Yep.
it's just Russ. So he's pushing the floor with these young guys. He's running up and down. Like these young guys gotta run with them. Like they gotta make these quick decisions. And Austin Reeves he's not that talented, but he's a smart NBA player though. He makes the
he could
right
play.
reads. So he could play. So
Mm-hmm.
you put him, Russ, Winnie, Gabriel, that nice young core to run up and down, bro. They were playing, and now when LeBron and AD comes back, like Darvin Ham say, they can't be the reasons why now we losing momentum. Russ got the team going now. I gotta come in third quarter like on fire. You know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
So it's a new identity that we just had these past few games. But at the end of the day, I can see it working. They can't be like, all right, Russ is playing great. Let's put him back in the starting lineup and see where it goes.
No, they can't.
No.
Yeah.
No. And Darvin Ham, I think, knows that. And I think that will help Russ more than it hurts Russ. Because now the only thing I'm scared for Russ is like I know he'll probably get a contract. I know he'll probably get a deal with another team. But the next team that draft for you that pay you might tell you to come off the bench too. You know what I'm saying? So that's the only thing. You get what I'm saying? But it allows people to be like, nah, this nigga still can ball. Like he can still, like you see when he hit him with that little he hit Jamal Murray with the little crossover.
Yeah, between legs and then went by him.
Bro, it went by him. I'm like, oh shit, because that was my biggest thing with Russ. I felt like he had no, like, unless he's
No
running
bag.
to the basket, he has no bag.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
And that was a little bag. Like he showed me, like, oh shit, like Russ got a little bag on him. Zach, I'm like, oh shit, like, and then he did the other left hand layup, finished it at the rack. But Zach, the Russ that we know is either taking that shot or settling for the midi. He backed it out and then took it to the paint, Zach.
Beautiful.
I never would have thought, Zach.
Bro, I'm like, that's how I know he's getting all of his confidence back. Because the first time he came off the bench, he did the same thing, 18, 8, and 8.
18,
and everyone was like, yo, is Russ back? And then now this game, same thing. He's like, yo, I don't have to worry, like, oh, did LeBron touch it? Did AD touch it? He's just like, I'm going in, and whoever's open, get ready. And he's doing his thing. His confidence is back. He's not thinking anymore.
Yep.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And he even waved off Bron. He's like, nah, hold up. And then went and made it. Yeah, you can see that he's feeling. He's like, yeah, I'm coming back. Getting a little pep in his step. And it's a beautiful thing, especially coming off the bench. He's that instant energy. We always know Russ is energy. Now off the bench, it's perfect. Perfect little role for him.
Exactly. And another thing, it's like, it's like it's everything you're saying, but I just credit Darvin Ham a lot, Zach, because even when Russ, because there's some times that he did some bonehead shit still, because it's still not gonna change.
No, and then on that note, Ham will bench him.
Yeah, that's what I noticed. Yeah. Like he shot the 3, he made it, and then he felt himself and shot another 3 and bricked it, and then Ham called the timeout. He's like, oh hell no, and he put LeBron. He didn't take Russ out though. He just put LeBron in. So he was like, nah, no more 3s for Russ. Like, find him in the basket now. You know what I'm saying? It allowed, like, to take the ball off his hands. Now he's, you know what I'm saying? So it fixed it. And then now Russ looked like, oh, shit, yeah, let me clean up my act again and got back on his shit. So I liked it, bro. Darvin Ham is the coach for Russell Westbrook, bro.
He's keeping his team accountable, which is great. And that's why, he's got them playing defense. He's got them doing all these other things they was not doing last season. They're still not on the best record, but the team looks
he said that
better.
Though, Zach. But if you really if you go back now and go to his what they call it when he first got hired, that press conference that he did.
Yeah.
You go back to the opening press conference, the first couple press conferences after the losses. He said it. He said this is not going to be easy. Like we're going to have a rough start. We're going to have a rough start because at the end of the day, he's implementing defense first to a team that didn't play defense last season. So you know what I'm saying? So you got it. That's tough to implement. So now you're implementing the defense, and he always said it. The offense is gonna come. It's gonna come. And you see, if you really pay attention, they're getting wide open baskets. They're getting some good shots. They just weren't making the shots, bro.
Man, them people trash. Man,
they're not a good team. It's a lot of pretty. But don't get me wrong though. They're one Carmelo Anthony away from being a decent team, bro.
Nah, man.
I'm still crazy that they did not bring him back,
bro. They're Carmelo Anthony away from being a good team, bro.
Hey, hold on. We got the OG back.
My boy
here,
Sky, what up, my boy?
Man, let me tell you, man, this how it was.
Right about the Pelicans, shit.
They're one of those teams.
Y'all saying that right now because the Lakers won one game. Them people did not look good winning that one game. People more happy because they won one game. Like they still trash. The only difference was in that game, because I watched the whole game, is that they hit shots. You put them in that same, you put them in that same position again, they miss them. They lose.
They were making shots that game. They were. The 40%.
Man, come on, man.
20 and 19, they was
The question is, could Lonnie Walker put up them type of numbers every game?
Lonnie Walker's been balling.
I know, because he put up the numbers he put up in that game every game. Could Russ put up them numbers in every game?
It's easy for Lonnie Walker to put up those type of numbers because all he's doing is fitting in Kendrick Nunn's shoes. I mean, Malik Monk's shoes. True. They're paying so much attention to LeBron and AD. All he really has to do is just ball, bro.
Man, let me tell you, man.
That's
You hold him under 12, right? You hold Russ no more than 15. Man, your chances on winning is high, man. That's a
I
fact.
mean, yeah, but that goes the same for any team, though. You hold any
Yeah.
team stars to like
Man, that's what I'm saying.
mental, and then
This
you
one.
hold their bench, the guys to a certain point is gonna be a loss.
So,
Like,
so you
so
think
that's how it
Reeves?
works.
Y'all believe Reeves gonna get at every game when he gave that game?
No, I do not,
That's what
because
I'm
I
saying.
don't believe in Reeves. But I said Reeves is not skilled, but I said he's a smart NBA player. Like he makes smart decisions. So if you put him in a position where he can make those decisions, he's gonna make the smart decision.
Man,
Like he didn't hit clutch shots. Like he didn't make clutch steals, clutch charges. Like Reeves is a smart player. Like he's for his
Yeah, he
age,
can
he's
play.
smart, bro.
you know what the difference was in that game? Because I watched the first time they played him. The
I
difference.
watched the whole game. I watched every single game the Lakers
What I'm
played.
saying, the first time they played him, the Denver beat him. But the
Yeah.
second time, if you pay attention, Murray wasn't in the game. Murray took a lot of shots that was bad that whole game.
No, but they kept putting Murray back in the game because he was the only one that was showing any type of hustle.
Man, let me tell you, if they would have played smart and went through Jokic, if they would have played smart and went through Jokic, they would have won that game. AD don't want to play defense.
No, AD was banged up, bro.
That's what I'm
AD
saying.
played
So
defense,
you play
bro.
smart.
No, now you can't say AD don't want to play defense. That's one thing AD want to do is play defense.
Man, he don't
AD plays defense. Like, that's what he do.
He don't want to play that, man. I watched him get
Nah,
layups,
Skylar, I
man.
can't agree with you, bro. Zach, AD plays defense, bro.
It's
He's
a-
been
Nah,
playing
I know.
defense.
I know that.
Nah, he
It's
hustles, bro. Nah, you don't do AD
It's a
like
difference.
that, bro.
It's a difference from won't play and can't play. He can't play. His back, you don't see.
Nah, you say he don't want to play defense. You didn't say he can't. You say he don't want to, and he was fucked up. You could look in his face and tell he was hurt.
So you think he gonna constantly? Let me
No,
tell
but
you,
see, all right,
it
this is what I'm trying to. Let me answer your question before you say something else. As far as AD, the man said himself he want to play 82 games, right? There's nobody in the league or nobody in history, in NBA history, that ever played 82 games, 70 games, 78 games that don't get hurt or play through slight, not injuries, but play through being hurt. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to play 82 games, you know what I mean? Every player that play 82 games, you don't think they're playing through a sore back or a tight back or a loose ankle or a sprained thumb or some shit?
I'm
You know
not saying
you're always going to be hurt.
I'm not saying you got to play 82 games. What I'm saying is, dog, he's not gonna give you that every game. The only reason he stayed in the game and didn't check out because they had a chance to win the game.
But he finished the game though, Skyler. Like, he finished the game.
When they get him blowed out, he gonna check out. I'm telling you.
But that's any team though.
You have to do that. You don't want to hurt your team.
Yeah,
like, you don't
like
wanna...
if we get blown out by 30, what do you keep an AD on the floor for? We're down 30. We're down 30. When we was losing, why are we putting AD in the game for? Why? That doesn't make any sense.
It'll be the second quarter. He gonna check out.
No, that's not. You're not right. You're right. AD has been playing good this season, bro. You can't do that. Like he missed one game, and during the 5 other games or 6 other games he played, he averaged 24, 10, and like 2 or 3 blocks. He's like leading the league in the blocks right now.
But we not disputing AD playing good.
You disputed him playing defense. No. He's playing defense. Then you disputed him playing through being hurt. He's playing hurt. So yes, you are, bro.
Hey, so let me add some context.
I'm just listening to what you're saying. I'm actually listening to what you're saying. Like, you know what I'm saying? And what you're saying is not true.
Let me add some context, because hold up, Rick. Let me add some context here, because I think you did bring up a very valid point when you were talking about, at least statistically, and them playing defense. Because I agree. I think Darvin Ham does have.
He missed one game.
Yeah, he like, they're playing better defense. The fact of the matter is, the problem is they can't knock down shots. And in Sky, you had.
But that's not AD's fault though, because at the end of the day, AD's shot.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not talking about
this season than last.
Yeah, I'm not talking about AD.
This last game, his jumper been hitting, so it's not AD's fault. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, he's playing a little dinged up, and of course, I want AD to be a little tougher. You know what I'm saying? But with that comes like nights like the Denver Nugget game, where you got to play. Any other last season, he wouldn't have played, bro. Last season, his ass would have rested last night. No matter the repercussions, they would have shot his ass. He still played because he knew they needed to win. And that's what you got to do, bro. You're not going to play your next game until Wednesday. Play the fucking game and sit out. You know what I'm saying? Relax. You got a couple days off. That's it. That's the difference between AD right now and the AD in the 2020 league, bro. He had to play hurt. and now he's showing it. Like, I'm gonna play hurt. I'm gonna do what I gotta do, and we're gonna. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, you're not gonna. They gotta like. You gotta understand, guys. The Lakers' first couple games were against good teams. You know what I'm saying? This is a new coach. This is a new core, new surrounding around the core. This is a new team. They're not gonna go 5-0 walking into the season with LeBron on his 20th season. Who thought that? I never thought that. I was hoping they would have went 3-1, but they were literally a few jump shots away from being 3-3.
So you think they good? That's what you telling me.
I don't think they're good. No, I said they're one player away. I said they're literally one player away from being a good team. That's what I said. I said
hold on. Let me hold on. Let me throw this out here. Let me throw this out here because there is some context. Because if we going off, because we do have still like a small sample of games. Small sample of games, right? So just based off all the criticism, everything that we thrown at the Lakers, right? We were saying they were the worst shooting team in the league, right? And they've played 6 games so far, and them being the only 1-5 team in the league right now, they're second in defensive rating, right? They're second in opponents' points in the paint. When it comes to oh shit, my fault. I was wrong on that one. My fault.
Yeah, why you like that?
Look around the league, though.
I was
hyped up like that.
Look, you gotta look around the league though. The Clippers, the Bulls. A lot of teams are in the bottom half of the league right now, bro.
That's what I'm trying to.
Sample size.
They never played. What good team they played yet?
They played the Nuggets twice, bro.
Man, let me tell you, man. To me, the Nuggets not good.
They played the Clippers.
What?
And look,
they played the Clippers. People thought the Clippers were gonna win the championship before.
Man, the Clippers trash. I've been to the Clippers.
I'm just saying though, their whole squad played though. Their whole squad played that game.
You know what? The Clippers one generation behind the Lakers.
You did say that. You're consistent though, because you did say the same thing about the Clippers. You never like backed the Clippers either. So I give you that for sure. You didn't believe in the Clippers.
The league didn't flip.
Y'all said that the last time. Yeah.
The league didn't flip. All the young teams is the good team. Phoenix good, but they don't use Chris Paul.
No, but see, like Skylar, this is the difference between what you're saying about the young teams. Like the young teams, like what you're saying, like yeah, they play good, like Trae Young, Ja, like they Luka, like they're playing good in the regular season, but when we get to the playoffs, we know what happens in the playoffs. The veteran teams win. The Golden States. You know what I mean? The veterans, the teams with the veterans win, not the team with a bunch of young dudes running around.
I agree with that. And when you say Golden State is about the only veteran team that's staying afloat.
Nah, look at the Bucks. The Bucks are 5-0. The Bucks are not a rookie team.
Man, we talking about
Bucks are the only undefeated team in the league right now. They're not young dudes. They are veterans.
We talking about in the West.
Nah, no, we're not talking about the West. We're talking about the NBA. What are you talking? That's how you see. That's how you move the goalposts. You do that a lot, Skylar.
Moving the goalposts.
You move now, bro. You move that goalpost a lot, my brother.
Look, this is what I'm saying. I agree with that when you say for a while. They ain't as old as the Clippers or the Lakers, but the Bucks is really good. Like it ain't like they start playing old.
No, but look at the all right. So what other?
So how you comparing the two? Giannis not old.
Giannis is not a young dude though. Giannis has been MVPs. He's been All-Stars. He's been a champion. Like Giannis is not no young dude either. He's a veteran now.
He's a veteran.
He's in the prime of his career. He's in the beginning of his prime.
Man, he's in that window. We talking about down there, 40-year-old man compared to Giannis.
Nah, we're not talking about you're bringing up LeBron. You moving that goalpost again. I didn't talk about LeBron, bro.
Yeah. Well, who you talking about?
You said the young dudes are taking over the league.
It is.
Right? All right, so how is that LeBron James? We're talking about the young cats like Ja Morant, Luka Doncic. We're not comparing. We're talking about those guys running the league, and then we're saying that veterans win the championships like Steph Curry, Giannis, and his team. Those are the teams winning the championship, not the young dudes that you're talking about.
But the point I'm getting at,
that's what I'm saying. I didn't say about LeBron James.
You got more veteran teams. You got more veteran teams that don't make the playoffs, period, compared to the young teams.
That goes to health, bro. That's health, like you said, like
health.
But look at these young dudes; they getting hurt. Ja got hurt in the playoffs.
Health and youth.
Missed all of last year.
Yeah.
Ben Simmons missed 2 years. Like, what are we talking about?
Who missed 2 years?
Ben Simmons missed a year.
2 years of basketball.
He only missed a year of basketball.
Man, Ben Simmons.
He missed 2 years of basketball.
He missed one.
He didn't play last season. He didn't play the season before that, bro.
He played the season before that.
Man, who considered Ben and good?
He played the season before that.
Okay,
remember, he lost in the play. Yeah, remember he had that flop in the playoffs, bro. Remember
no, Pat. My bad. I didn't mean.
Kyrie Irving said it was 2 years. He was tripping too.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean Ben. You're right. Ben Simmons missed 1 year. You know what I'm trying to say though. Like these young dudes is missing games though. Like it's the young dudes that are missing games that are missing significant time. It's not the OGs that are missing significant time. Other than LeBron, who missed fine after 20 years, he's finally getting a little dinged up. And then Kawhi Leonard, who always been a bitch, bro. So what are we talking about? And AD, another nigga that always been a bitch. We're talking about the guys that's always been.
Man, you capping when you say that. Only person you could say is Ben Simmons out the young boys.
Ja got hurt in the playoffs.
Nah, that's not true.
Got hurt in the playoffs.
What about your guy on the Pelicans too? Zion.
Trae Young. These dudes get hurt.
Zion
been gone.
What are they talking about?
He already hurt.
Stop it, bro.
He played last game.
Stop it.
They set him out, dude. They set him out.
The crazy thing with the Clippers, the players don't even be wanting to sit in the bench. They want to play. It's the teams that be trying to bench them, bro.
I say that. I agree with that part.
Yeah, it's not even the players. The players want to play, bro. Come on, Skylar. Don't do that, bro. Don't start no propaganda.
Yeah, and you got KD, Kyrie, and I said that in the past. Like you have a lot of young players. Like they're the ones that be out more. They were out more than LeBron, and LeBron is just now starting to miss games, bro. Like if we keeping it real, like
Kendrick Nunn missed the whole season. The dude's only 25.
I drove.
We didn't even understand the significance of his injury for a whole season. We all try to break down when is Kendrick Nunn coming back, and the nigga never came back, bro. And he's only 25.
We
like,
know
what are we talking about, Zach?
Who looking for Kendrick Nunn? Who was looking for Kendrick Nunn but the Lakers fans?
The Lakers, I was looking for Kendrick Nunn.
Man,
these three guys right here, that's three people right there that was looking for Kendrick Nunn. Man. We found three people right here. Those are the three.
That's why I don't understand how y'all thinking the Lakers gonna win with the team they got. Like I don't understand that. Like I don't see nothing that's good besides they got one win. Like
no. Nobody said
they're gonna win.
Nobody said that.
Besides me joking around and just being a Laker fan, I would never think this team constructed right now has a good chance to win. Like my winners are not the Lakers. They're not in my top 5 of teams that can win the chip.
As of right now, because anything.
Yeah, the way they are right now, no shot.
Y'all think they make the play-in?
They have a chance.
Yeah.
I think they can make the play-in.
They have a chance. Remember, playing is 10 teams. You have to make it the 10th seed to be a play-in, bro. There's only 15 teams in each conference, bro.
I know.
So you just got to make sure you're not the bottom 5 of your conference, bro. Which right now they are. They're in the bottom 5 right now. So I'm not going to sit here and act like they're not. You know what I'm saying? But again, they're only they only played 6 games, bro. So
what 4 teams you think better than them? That's the question.
What 4 teams I think are not better than them, you mean?
That's what I meant. Not better than them.
Okay, so.
Kings.
Thank you. Spurs. The Spurs.
Yeah, the Spurs are not it.
The Rockets are not better than them.
The Spurs got more wins than them right now, though.
Nah, but that see you.
Yeah, but that's like
early sample size, though, boss. Early sample size.
We just said we're not going to use the amount of games yet. You asked me which teams, and we're
I
trying
think the Jazz. I think they're still better than the Jazz.
They are still better than the Jazz. You gotta understand, Pat. You gotta understand, bro. These young teams are gonna start off hot, bro. Like it happens all the time. Look at the Celtics last year. They started off in the bottom. They started off in the bottom last season too. Remember?
But y'all know that tanking don't work the same no more neither. So they gonna really try to beat them. Y'all know that tanking don't work the same, right?
Nah, exactly. Tanking don't work, but the team still want the high picks, so they still gonna have to tank They still gonna have to try to tank some way somehow.
Yeah. All they gotta be is
obvious. They just can't make it obvious, bro. But teams are still gonna tank, bro. You can't stop tanking.
Unfortunately,
teams want, especially you got to play it like Wembanyama. I know this year, eventually, these teams are gonna start looking for losses, bro. Right. They just can't make it. They're making it's actually kind of better for the Jazz that they're winning some games now, so that way they can use that as evidence. Like, hey, we're not tampering. We started off 3-0. Like, how are we tampering? So now, you know what I'm saying? So there's no way. So when they start throwing games in the end of the season, they can be like, no, we're not throwing games. We just fucking suck right now. That's it. Like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? It's sorry for my part of my language, but you know what I mean? Like, these guys are just like, it's I understand what you're saying, Skylar, 100%. Like, I'm with you, bro. Like, these teams that we expect to look like the championship contenders, the Nets, the Clippers, the Celtics, the Lakers, they all got their issues, bro. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, these are the teams that win, bro. Like, the Golden State don't look good right now, but you can't say Golden State don't got a chance to win. You can't say that, bro, because they're the team that will end up in the finals and prove us all wrong.
That's the only team that ever proved us wrong.
I don't
You can't
think
say
so,
the same
bro.
Clippers and the Lakers. Nah, you can't.
Nah, man, because you got to think.
Nah,
LeBron
not-
James
that-
won the
I'm-
chip. At LeBron James, nobody thought the Cavs was going to win that year. They won. So you can't say that.
Man, let me tell you,
and-
the Lakers won a championship before KD got there and all that. So we know what them people possible. But we talking about a team changing year to year and putting up. Nah, I don't see it. I don't see it. A different team every year. Nah.
That's what I'm saying. The Lakers, the year that they won was a different team. They came
Man,
off.
the Lakers been falling since they won that championship. The next year, what they made the what? The play-in. Then the next year, they ain't make nothing. Y'all don't see that?
I understand that. But that's why the Lakers, what I give respect to the Lakers, they don't stand put. Last year they stood put, but I feel like they usually don't stand put. They usually will make the big trade or the whatever moves it takes to change the team to appease the fans. You know what I'm saying? So
I agree with that.
They were
That's what
getting
I'm saying.
lowballed. They were getting lowballed and they didn't make a move. They're gonna keep making moves until they become contenders again.
That's what I'm saying. They don't have nothing else they could give. They're exhausted. That's what
Nah,
I'm saying.
they got one last. No, Rob Pelinka said it. They got one last card. They got one last card in their deck, bro. And before they give it away, which is those 2 picks, that's their last thing, bro, that they have. Before they give it up, they just want a nice offer. And then now, if we could string up a few games, bro, if we could get on like a 5-6 game winning streak, the action price for Russ is definitely gonna be higher than what it is.
Nah, nobody doing that on no 1 year. Nobody ain't doing that.
People want
They
expiring
stuck with
contracts. Yo, Skyler, people want expiring contracts.
Nah,
Want that.
nobody.
All right.
They gonna make the Lakers eat that, dog. I guarantee the whole league gonna make the Lakers eat that. Nah.
But if the Lakers eat that, they're gonna have $47 million in cap space at the end of the season.
But what that mean? They don't have no picks.
They don't have to have picks. That's cap. That's for free agency. That's
Who
not
coming available next year?
Kyrie Irving. What are you talking about? They didn't pay him yet.
Man, I
true.
understand.
They just fired their coach. What do you mean? If they don't play good, like
I
Kyrie,
understand
they
that.
pay Kyrie.
Kyrie Irving can't change that. What's going on in the Lakers?
There's no way you saying the Kyrie can't. Hey, look.
He makes a difference, bro. He makes a
Yeah,
difference.
nah. Kyrie's no Westbrook. Kyrie will make that difference.
Yeah.
Why he's not making a difference over there in Brooklyn then?
Kyrie's balling.
Yeah, he's doing his thing.
He's playing defense and everything.
You talking about individuality. I'm talking about teams. See,
because they couldn't stick defense. They had no defense.
That's what I'm saying. Kyrie's playing defense. If you're watching the game, Kyrie's playing defense, bro.
Yeah.
Man, all I'm saying is I don't take nothing from Kyrie. He a good player. I don't take nothing from Kyrie.
Kyrie's a great player, bro.
What's going on at the Lakers, I don't think a player can fix it. That's all I'm saying.
One of the most skilled players with the basketball.
I disagree.
Are you telling me he's not going to change nothing on the team? Like, you're crazy, bro. You're crazy.
Man, y'all the same people 2 weeks ago that was talking about they need to trade Russ. Russ had one good game. Now y'all saying, they got to keep Russ coming off the bench. Then when they play the Pelicans,
we can still trade him.
Nobody said to keep Russ. Nobody said that.
You said keep him on the bench. Keep on the bench, but still.
And if they string, what I said was, if they string a couple more wins, that means the asking price for Russ will be higher. That means we still want to trade him if the asking price is higher. He's still on the block. Russ is on the trading block. He did not get removed off the trading block. If you look in the Lakers, like their information and all their pages, just like how every chat or every team has one. He's on the trading block. That means the team posted him on the trading block, which means they're taking calls for Russell Westbrook and they're sending calls for Russell Westbrook.
He's increasing his value at this moment.
All he's doing is increasing value in the trading block. Russ don't want to be there no more, bro. We all already know Russ wants to leave. He wants a next big contract. The Lakers are not paying him a big contract, bro. So we all know Russ is going to leave the team.
After tomorrow, it's going to be another Russell Westbrook bashing because they're going to get blowed out. Why did I say?
As a Pelican?
Man, okay. Yeah, man. And we're going to beat them with the bench. I ain't even watch.
Like, Zion's going to ball, but I need the Lakers to win this one, man.
They ain't win none last year.
I'm marking this game on my couch. I need this win, bro. I'm watching every second of the game, commercials and all, bro. I'm not even.
And Valanciunas, I guarantee you, AD gonna check out. He gonna play hurt. Valanciunas gonna kill him, man.
Oh man.
The
only reason why I'm not talking shit right now is because the Pelicans been cooking teams like.
Yeah, they playing. They
balling right now.
Man, we blew it. Man,
Trey Murphy, man.
The score don't even The score don't even reflect on what we did to the Clippers.
There's some guy named Muhammad on the team or some shit. He's balling too or some shit like that.
You mean Alvarado?
Yeah, and Alvarado balling. This dude's balling there. I ain't gonna front.
Them bench players though. Najee Marshall. That's bench players.
Najee Marshall. That's what I'm talking about. Not Muhammad. Najee Marshall. That's his name. Yeah, he's balling.
Yeah, man, that's bench players.
Yep. Ingram and Williamson's still out though with the hip bruise, right?
No, he played last game.
He played last game.
Beat the Clippers. Yeah, he helped beat the Clippers.
Okay. Yeah, I know Ingram.
He scored 21.7 rebounds, and I think he had 9 assists, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that.
Sun slight.
Zion's a man's man in the league, bro. I ain't gonna lie. He's not nothing to play with right now. I ain't gonna lie.
Hey, Sky. What's your? I want to ask you this, like personal opinion. What's your opinion of having Zion at the point, running point?
My opinion?
Yeah. If if they made a crucial change, like let's just say, you know what, we gonna run Zion at the point. Like what
what they did with Giannis.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we good at that. We got shooters. We good. We could do that. You clog the paint up. If you clog the paint, we could go either way y'all want to go. That's what I'm trying to tell you. All right, y'all. We even got a lineup for the Golden State Warriors. Y'all want to switch? All right, we put Larry Nance in there on Valanciunas too slow. The Phoenix just beat us by I think 10 points. And we ain't played none of our
y'all fucked Phoenix up though. Y'all already beat Phoenix crazy already. Yeah.
No, but I'm saying this year during the season. They beat us 10 points and we played with our bench. B.I. ain't play, us Zion ain't play.
Yeah.
And Herb Jones. He ain't play. That's our best defender. Yeah, y'all ain't see what we done to Dallas?
Nah, I watched
I know they beat Dallas.
I watched the highlights and everything. I make sure
with the bench. That was with the bench. That wasn't even the starters. B.I. ain't play that
game. They didn't have neither of them. And they beat them. They have neither of them.
The Pelicans are not they're good. They're a playoff team. Like I'm not gonna sit
on 100%.
And we can't talk no shit because it's so early on this season though too.
Yeah.
So it's like we just gotta give it to
but coming into the season, we knew that we all had Pelicans
we knew.
We
knew they were gonna be a good team.
We knew they were gonna be a good team, bro. They were a good team without Zion, and they just added Zion and CJ McCollum. You know what I'm saying? So come on, bro. Like there's no way they're not gonna be good, bro.
Yeah,
they're versatile as fuck, and they're young. I get it. Like they got a veteran. They got Valanciunas. He's a champion. They got a perfect mix of players. They got a players coach that used to play in the game. They got a good team. They're a perfectly built team. Like the only thing is it's a small market team, so it's gonna be hard to keep that team together after a certain amount of years because they're not a Golden State.
Not true. The lady already said she going.
Look, Skylar, I didn't say they won't do it. I said it will be hard for them to do it. I didn't say it's not gonna do it. You know what I mean? So It will be hard, bro. So that is
it's not even that. Because you got
will be hard. You get what I'm saying? It will be hard
because you got to you got to play into effect.
Now the league wants to bring in a hard cap, so it will be hard, bro. Because
it's gonna be hard regardless on no matter what team it is. Based off our talent, all our talent come. That's why it's gonna be hard. Most of our talent came in 1 year. They all young. So you paying a bunch of people.
You gotta pay them all at the same time.
Yeah,
you gotta give everybody a contract. And you still gotta pay CJ McCollum. You still have to pay Brandon Ingram.
They paid them already.
And all your rookies.
See, that's where you messing up at. All them got extensions already. CJ got his extension. Larry Nance got his extension. Only person we waiting to play is Trey Murphy. B.I. got his extension.
I get what you're saying. I get
that.
I know they signed those extensions for sure. But the thing is, after that, they got to pay the other guys. But then there's something called luxury tax. It's it's not the salaries that's really killing the team. These guys are billionaire owners. They could pay the team salary. It's the luxury tax that gets charged.
Understand that, but what other guys they have to pay?
But hold on. Listen to what I'm telling you, Skylar. So listen to what I'm telling you. So yeah, they paid Brandon Ingram, they paid Zion, they paid all these guys. They got the extensions. But now when you're looking at Trey Murphy, and yeah, he bring a lot to the table. But when he's asking for like a 4-year, $80 million or $95 million contract or rookie extension,
Trey Murphy still got
$2 million on top of that. The owner's not paying that.
Man, Trey Murphy got 2 more years before he even could ask for that. This is second year.
Yeah, he got some time for that.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. He got 2 more years. And if you go to Dyson Daniels, he got 3 more years.
How about Jackson Hayes, though? How about Jackson Hayes?
Jackson Hayes could go. He could go. Jackson Hayes is not no.
So there you go. So I didn't understand that's what you meant. So now you willing to let one of them go? You willing to let Jackson Hayes go?
Man, what Jackson Hayes showed since he been here?
Nothing. That's what I'm. No, right. But what I'm trying to say is Jackson Hayes is a baller though. He plays.
Yeah.
Right.
He plays. He does his thing on that team.
This year he ain't been playing.
Nah, he ain't been playing this year. But I remember you.
He been collecting fouls.
But hold on, Skylar. The last time we spoke, I remember you telling me how good Jackson Hayes was though.
He is, but he ain't worth to make a decision on where he getting paid.
So what I'm asking you is, you're willing to let him go, right? Yes.
Yeah, he could go.
So I'm asking. So, like I said, that goes back to my point.
But I think he's gonna be.
They can't keep everybody, Zach. Like they gotta let somebody go.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna be going.
I think
he's gonna be going in the package anyway, because we still got Devontae Graham too.
I feel like they would let him walk too. That's what I'm saying. Like there's a lot of
Devontae Graham on his second year on the 4 years, so he still got 2 more years. Anything he trade leverage.
But some of these guys
got 3 more years.
Want burn too though. Some of you gotta let these guys. They're very.
That's
deep,
what I'm trying to tell you.
These guys play.
The way Willie Green play, all of them get burned. They ain't complaining about burn, man. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
They ain't been complaining about burn because B.I. and Zion been missing games.
And you think they doing that? You think they missing games because we could win without them? That's why.
Tyler, you don't see the problem in that though. You don't see the problem in like chemistry and all that stuff, like the changing of the lineups and all that. You don't think that's no problem at all?
That's not no problem. You know why I'm gonna tell you why there's no problem. You know why we so good? Because the same team we beating people with this year is the same team we had to play with last year. They didn't have no other choice. The only person we had to supplement in there was Zion Williamson. We didn't get no additions, none. Pay attention. That's the same team. We ain't gonna get no free agents. CJ came in the trade in the middle of the season last year. That's the same team that pushed to the play-in.
I get what you're saying. Like, but that's what I'm saying. But Skylar, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, we're not like disagreeing with you that the team is not a good team. Like, that's a great team. Like, it's a well-built team. They a great team. But like until they make it to the playoffs again and actually make it past like the first or second round, they're just not gonna get those expectations as far as championship. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like and I get what you're saying though. The other teams look bad. Like I'm with you, but there's still a lot of teams that look better than the Pelicans though. Like
name one.
Every time I name them, you move.
Nah, name one. We know the Bucks. We know the Bucks. We gonna say the Bucks.
So the Bucks. So that's one. The Bucks. Golden State.
Oh, don't worry about that. That's about to all change because we play Golden State on this run too. So we'll see. I'll talk to y'all later about that.
All right. So that's 2 right there. Me,
Trailblazers.
I feel like the Celtics will beat the Pelicans in a 7-game series. And that's my opinion. Miami Heat, my opinion. You ask me, like, you know what I'm saying? These are the teams that I feel. So
All right. And
Boston, and then most of those are in the East. So you got it with that. So in the West, if we want to keep it West, Golden State.
All right.
Portland, I think make it 7 games, but I think they take Portland, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I think they take Portland. So Dallas is better than them.
How? We just beat Dallas with the bench.
But this is a regular season, though. I get what you're saying, but
you ain't get you fail to realize this with the bench. No Zion, no
BI.
I get you judging it like, oh, it's the regular season. So you sitting up here telling me if it's the regular season, our bench as good as they starters. That's what you're saying, basically.
Yeah, I get what you're doing. I get what you're saying.
So we beat them. So what's next? Who else?
I get your point. So I'm looking.
But that's one game, though, Scott.
That's what I'm saying. That's
82
all I'm
game
saying.
season.
But
Like,
I'm gonna let him have that point. I'm gonna let him have that point.
But it's no reason. I understand
like,
that's one game, but it's no reason why another team bench should be beating the team starters.
It happens all the time, though.
We know that. We know that. Look, we didn't have their starter. We had a bunch of people. Najee Marshall killed them.
Every player gets their game. Every player gets their day, and another player
Marshall
don't
killed
have
the
their
Clippers.
day.
They killed the Clippers.
It's only been 6 games.
All I'm saying is a healthy team based off of what we have, bro. It's gonna be tough for them. We already know Luka gonna get him. Luka. Once we slow down everybody else, Luka can't win a game by himself. Them people on the slide right now.
No, I'm a side with him, at least with the Mavericks. I'm not convinced on the Mavericks. I think Pels beat the Mavericks. Like healthy with BI, Zion, all them boys.
All right, but we still got Golden State. We still got Denver. We
Golden
still got
State. I think Grizzlies. I would go Grizzlies.
Thank you. That's what I'm saying.
Healthy Grizzlies. I definitely would have Grizzlies.
And then we already named 4 teams in the East already, and we didn't even really go deep into the East like that. So that's teams that could beat the Pelicans. But I'm not even going to count the Pelicans out because the Pelicans still got a chance to beat all those teams, even the Warriors. It can happen. Anything can happen, bro. Yeah. So I'm not going to shit on the Pelicans. But at the end of the day, I just can't, like, the same chance the Pelicans got are the same chance the Lakers got. And that's all I'm trying to say right now, basically. The Pelicans have the same championship chances as the Lakers as of right now, bro. I can promise you that.
I agree with you with that, but they don't have the same talent. That's what I'm telling you.
Don't have the same talent, and I agree with you on that as well. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, nah, that was heated. Y'all was getting into it. I didn't want to stop it. I didn't want to impede on that too much.
We do it here at Cash Sports, man. We know the game. We all love the game, bro. That's the only thing. We all have our opinions. We all have our players, but we all love the game, bro.
Let me ask this, Scott. Since you so self-assured of yourself, man, you betting on tomorrow's game? You putting some money up on your Pels tomorrow?
I do it every game. What you mean?
He said he don't miss. He never not. What are you talking about?
I just got paid, man. On FanDuel.
So let me ask you this too. So you bet
against the Clippers, they had us as a plus. Oh man, you know I'm taking that, man.
Yeah, that's a
boy, Louisiana.
Nice come up.
I know it's gonna change though, because if we keep winning, they're gonna start putting us in a negative. So I gotta get paid early.
Nah, I hear you. So you got them open up. So you did come on here and you said that they were going to the finals. So did you bet on the opening line that they're gonna make it to the finals?
No, I ain't making on that. I bet on.
You should put a little 50
I bet
piece
on the
that
game.
though. You should put a nice little 50 piece on that though, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I bet on the props, man.
That 50 will turn to 100K real quick.
Yeah, I would drop that just to see what could.
Just to see what could. Yeah, because I'm not gonna lie.
See what could.
Everything
drop
you
$10 on
about
that
the
hole.
Pelicans, everything you say about the Pelicans make me kind of believe in the Pelicans a little bit.
Yeah.
So
like you're not wrong. I mean, because it's still a small sample size. Like
it's
for
a
us
small
to have
sample
like
size.
really,
But
yeah,
so
for us to
far,
have a really
though, he's been right on everything he said.
Yeah.
Even when it comes to the other teams too. So it's like,
yeah.
I would put that little $50, $20 on it because shit's gonna be $100K for sure. Because the odds ain't really, you know what I mean? They got the Clippers. They had the Clippers in the opening thing as winning the chip. So
yeah. and you know, and you know what? I can't wait till it's December, January, because when it starts becoming mid-season, all-star break passes, and when it starts the second half of the season, then we can really talk some shit. Like we can really talk. Because now we got like big
hopefully
sample
by
season.
that time the Lakers are at least above 500, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna need that.
I can't take another one of those seasons where it's the holiday Christmas games and we're teetering over 500 and under 500. I can't do that shit anymore, bro. I can't. I will give up on the Lakers, bro. I will give up on my team and just move on to another team, bro. Real shit. But at this point, bro, it's too much stress, bro. Like too much back and forth. I can't do this.
Y'all know where our head coach come from? Y'all know what team he come from?
Willie Green?
Mm-mm.
You talking about?
Yeah.
Where he come from?
Willie Green came with the Clippers, didn't he? Didn't he play
No.
that was like his biggest team, though, wasn't it?
It'll shock you where he come from.
What you mean?
He come from the Phoenix Suns.
Willie Green?
Willie
Oh, yes. I remember.
But yeah, he
The
played
reason
for
why I
wasn't his
remember
best-
is because of, I forget what 2K it was. It was one of the early ones, like maybe like 13 or 14. There was one of the 2Ks. I remember, I'm like, yo, Willie Green, because he was
played
killing
for
my
the Clippers
team.
too, though. He played for the Clippers. Like, I think he played for Lob City in them too, bro.
No, he did. I'm talking
He
about
did,
where
right?
he coach from. He was assistant coach for the Phoenix Suns when they went
Oh, okay,
the
gotcha.
bubble.
Okay, okay, I get what you're trying to say. Okay. You talking
So
about?
after they come off,
I thought you meant playing. I thought you meant playing.
And he was an assistant coach for the Warriors too. So for the Warriors, Suns,
yeah,
and then
it's
Pelicans
the Warriors.
now.
Yeah, I remember that too. Because a lot of the Warriors players got like jobs too. A lot of the
so he won the championships with the Warriors when he was with the Warriors, obviously So
So
don't be resume. But I remember his biggest highlight of his career was playing for Lob City. Like that was like the height of his NBA career, at least. Was playing for Lob City. I remember that. I remember Willie Green for Lob City for sure.
Yeah, nah.
He wasn't all that. I'm gonna be keeping 100, but Darvin Ham wasn't that good either. I looked up his little highlights and shit. Darvin Ham was ass. So
listen, that's how it works for the coaches.
He was just tough. Yeah, he was just a tough guy. Like
it just be like that sometimes. Like the best players don't make the great coaches. So it's the other guys.
Hey, so just to finish it off, because I got some things I gotta do here in a bit. Skylar, you got anything you want to send off before we start closing this up?
Nah, I'm good. I'll holler at y'all on the next podcast.
All
right, man. Appreciate it.
All right, brother.
Hey, so any y'all got anything left to say before we start closing up here?
Nah, I just want to say, yo, respect to Skylar, man, because he's the only like the chat person that be having the balls to come up to this shit and really debate and talk basketball. Right. A whole bunch of people be seeing this, and they be in the comments. There was a guy that even was talking shit the first episode of CashSports.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
He was talking shit. He never got on to this day. So like, you know what I mean? I respect him, man. He an OG. He know the game. He believe in
repping the Pelicans too.
Yeah, not like one of the big teams, one of the smaller ones.
And you could tell he been repping the Pelicans since AD was there. So he ain't no new guy. Like he's been through some tough times with the Pelicans. You can tell. I respect it. I respect his basketball knowledge, his basketball acumen. I wasn't disagreeing with anything he was saying. But he definitely had to respect what the fuck I was saying, because I know what the fuck I'm talking about.
No, I hear you. Zach?
I'm looking forward to the rest of the season, because for the most part, the season is kind of unpredictable where the teams are kind of falling, which is awesome. Love seeing that, because at the end of the day, I just love watching good games. So if two good teams go at it back and forth, it's always fun. So I can't wait for, like you said, after Christmas, kind of see where all the teams are starting to line up and see where they start to fall by All-Star break. So then we can really start, talking ours.
Okay, we talk a little fantasy for 2 seconds. Yo, Zach, I got you this week, man. Good luck.
So you gonna lose? So you ready to lose? Then you prepared for that?
Good luck, buddy.
Nah, you gonna need it. What is win, baby? What is win?
Oh yeah. Y'all going against each other, man. So.
Yeah, it's be exact this week.
Nah, my team got to pull through because I don't know if I'm
gonna lie, my
able
team
to.
was looking bad for some reason. I thought I drafted so well until the season
Me
started.
too, bro. I lost twice right. I'm like, damn, I thought I was doing better than that.
I know, but you know what? The first week, but you had some players out. That really messed you up, though. If you had some players in.
Yeah, I remember you was telling me like, yo, you didn't put nobody in. And I was like, I didn't? I was like, I could have sworn I did, but now I think I got it kind of settled. I think I figured it out.
Yeah, I got it down packed. You got to really edit your lineups for like the next 2 or 3 weeks down the line, and always check it too. Like,
that was my thing. I didn't check because whatever I said, it didn't save for whatever reason. I didn't save it or whatever the hell happened.
Because you got to save it after every single lineup, every single game. You got to make sure it's saved.
Yeah, I check my shit every day.
I always forget. And I'm always like, oh yeah, let me like by like 5 o'clock. I'm like, oh, let me hurry up and get my lineups right.
Yeah.
These players got to play, bro. These players can't keep taking these fucking.
That's the other thing.
Bro.
Yeah, I keep getting outs
up.
and this and that. I'm like, damn, that sucks.
Because you don't want to drop players, and then you'll put them in the injury list, and then they'll ball, and then you have them in the injury list already, and they just ball down like on their first game back. Like, what the fuck? And then you can't even pick up another player because you have to put him back on the roster.
Yep, that's the worst.
For sure. Hey, so my key pointers that I want to point out before we head out of here. Edit your lineup.
Yeah.
And secondly, this is gonna take a little the vibe is gonna turn here a bit. Rest in peace, obviously, to take off. You know, it was a really sad and unfortunate
hear about
thing
that.
today. Yeah, to see a rapper, another brother get pass away on such short notice and unexpectedly at that. So rest in peace to him, and also condolences to his family. Right?
Yeah. In the last 4 years, we lost over 6 to 7 rappers to gun violence. So please, guys, stop the violence. If you can't fight it out, just walk away, man. Be a man about it, and just let it go, bro. It's never that serious. We all have family. We all love our loved ones. You know how it feels to lose a loved one. So let's multiply. Let's not subtract. Let's not go backwards. Let's move forward, y'all. So all jokes aside, this is really getting really getting real disgusting. It's getting real sad because it comes at a tough time when we're already the oddballs out. We're already in the bottom of the barrel, y'all. So let's not feed into it. Let's finally like stand up and change. And I know everybody's situation is different. I know you got to get it how you live. I'm not trying to tell everybody just, hey, you know what I mean? I ain't an angel. But at the end of the day, like, just please, like, it makes no sense. Like, it's senseless violence, bro. Stop this.
Yeah, for sure. All right, man. So that's a good note to leave off of the Cash Sports podcast. I graciously appreciate everybody that tuned in into Cash Sports as we were able to talk about basketball and NBA today. So please like and subscribe to Cash Sports. I would graciously appreciate it. That would certainly help the podcast. Definitely hit that notification button, by the way. So if you guys want to get the notifications for when we hit that live stream, right? And also, I do have my Cash App at the bottom. If you guys would so humbly donate, I would graciously appreciate any donations to the platform, because any proceeds that I receive is gonna go back into the platform, right? So with further ado, right? Stay tuned next time and have a wonderful day.